On behalf of everyone at Cooper Tires, drivers, start your Mazda engines.
That's the call we wanted. Engines coming to life down here on pit lane. Ladies and gentlemen, the first of 3 Mazda Road to Indy events. Ready for you here in Mid-Ohio. John Phippen, I'll meet you up in the tower. Take it away.
Thanks, Rob Howden, and I am John Phippen. Glad to have you with us. Those of you listening on the streaming broadcast, I'm overlooking the start-finish line here from the Cooper Tires Press Tower at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We can see a beautiful crowd of fans here. It's a beautiful day, some puffy white clouds in the sky, no threat of rain. We're looking forward to a great day of racing. As the cars take off on their pace lap, they will head around through turn number 1, which is the fastest turn on this racetrack, and they come into the view of Rusty Bell. Rusty, how are you doing out there?
We're doing great, and as you mentioned, John, a great crowd. I get to see the keyhole turn, and there's a great crowd up in the keyhole. We even have a good crowd on the outside of turn 1. As John said, he throws it to me as they come around that turn 1 area where the pit exit lane is also. The cars coming out now. They go up the straightaway into a pretty hard braking area at the top of the keyhole through that 180-degree off-camber turn, and that leads them on to the longest straightaway here, 3,000 feet. I am just past the kink here in the start stand, not for this race, but some of the other races. Here we get the start on the back straightaway, and then down hard braking in the best passing areas, it leads down into the S's.
Down into the S's right at the top of turn 5 is Brian Culbertson. Hey, Brian, good crowd there in front of you, I'll bet.
Oh, good crowd. Still some room down here, but it'll fill up as the morning goes along. Getting ready for the Pro Mazda cars out here. They put on a great show yesterday. Expect the same. But turn number 4, like Rusty was saying, greatest passing zone at the track is right at the top end of the straightaway. But once they get that pass done, they have to get through turn number 4. They drop down a slight incline. They climb a hill. And they go through tricky turn number 5. We've had quite a few cars already off this morning at the exit of turn number 5. It's a left-hander. They drop down the hill into turn number 6. Several passes happened in the MX-5 Cup there, down into turn number 6. I don't expect too many with the Pro Mazda cars, but it could happen. They go out of my view underneath the Honda Bridge and head towards Thunder Valley.
As they head towards Thunder Valley, this track has 140 feet of vertical in it. The highest point of the track is just at the entrance to the keyhole turn. The lowest point of the track is in Thunder Valley, as you might say. But giving us all the highlights from that low point is Tom Michaels. Hey, Tom.
Not the first time I've been the low point of a broadcast. Anyway, we take a look here. You come through turn 7. That's kind of blind to us. But then we see him 2 consecutive right-hand turns. Turn 8, turn 9. Both a little bit off camber. Then they come up over a little bit of a rise. The cars get light there, and we've seen cars spin to the outside because of that. Down into Thunder Valley, underneath the Total Quartz Bridge. You bend around to the right in turn number 10, and then the left-hander at turn number 11. A very tricky turn, as we have seen this weekend, into the carousel and onto the front straightaway where John is.
Rob Howden, we've got to start. It looks like David Malukas is going to get a good jump.
Indeed, David Malukas out to a solid jump as we are green flag racing, a hardcore run into turn number 1 under the Cooper Tire Bridge. They'll work their way out of turn number 1, now up to turn number 2. Again, these young drivers got championship on their mind. Again, Renus VK able to get the win yesterday, his 3rd straight victory. He has worked his way now into the 2nd spot. It's one of the Juncos drivers battling with Parker Thompson, Rusty, for that 3rd position.
Yeah, the 9 car got a really bad run through turn 1 and got pushed over the curbing there and is holding up the train behind him. He is really struggling right now. McGinnis, as our leaders go by, VK and Malukas. Malukas at the point.
Malukas with the point, making his way into turn number 4. We got a car that's going to come off the high side here. It's the number 1 car down through China Beach. The front wing just gets demolished on that car. Leaders headed for you, Tom Michaels, but the 1 car loses that wing and is able to continue. We should stay green.
Sizable advantage now for that first place 79 over the 2 car. Then a gap back. Robert McGinnis in 3rd. Leader Malukas, followed by BK.
Tough opening lap for both Parker Thompson and Carlos Cunha. Thompson was the driver who dropped the wheel on the exit of turn number 2. Fell back a couple of spots. Then Carlos Cunha off and through China Beach. You can see the front wing get ripped off that Juncos Racing entry. They'll work their way onto the front straightaway. And indeed, the opening lap in the books. Malukas, your leader. VK 2nd. McGinnis 3rd. 4th now is Oliver Askew. 5th position, I believe, is the number 10 of Drugovich. Yeah, up into the 5th spot. Solar Obel 6th. Stingray Robb 7th. Where is Parker Thompson? 9th position on the opening lap. This is not what he needed And here comes Carlos Cunha into pit lane. Indeed, the front wing gone on the number 1 machine. He'll come in. They'll get a new wing on it. But wow, an issue here early. For one of the drivers trying to get his first win, that's Cunha, and a driver trying to get back in the points, that's Parker Thompson, all the way down to 9th position.
Yeah, Parker had to relinquish the lead in the championship to Rinus VK. It's now 9 points from first to second. Rusty, a good battle for third coming down in front of Brian.
Yeah, good battle for third. Right now, the two leaders are trying to get away from this field. Malukas and VK have hooked up, and they have got almost half a second. Tom Michaels headed for you. Watch the leaders trying to get away.
Yeah, they've separated themselves. No challenge there. There could be a challenge coming up in just a moment for that third place position. I asked you about 3 car lengths off the wing of McGinnis.
So then they coming up through the top part of the racetrack here once again. Into the carousel. Solid little advantage at this point here for David Malukas. He's going to try to get back on the top of the box after sweeping the weekend at Road America. Keeping an eye on the car number 90 of Parker Thompson trying to recover here. He's going to try to get a good run here on the number 8 of Nikita Listoshkin. He comes across the line again in the 9th position. They'll work their way under the Cooper Tire Bridge. It's crucial for Parker Thompson to get through here, get another spot. He's going to hope for a full course yellow as well to potentially back the field up to him once again. But again, here's Parker Thompson. He'll go to the inside in turn number 2. Book it. Thompson by Listoshkin. He's up to P8.
Yeah, I think that Stingray Robb got around Solar Oval on that last lap, too. We'll keep an eye on that as Solar Oval struggled through turn 1 and went wide. Here goes Parker Thompson around Solar Oval. So Thompson may make up 2 spots on this lap.
He does, Rusty. He gets another one of those spots, and our leader continues to check out. Tom Michaels, they're in front of you, and I've got a spinner here. We're going to stay green, though.
No real challenge there for the lead at all, and that challenge I thought was going to come up there for the third place position, and he just kind of stabilized. Malukas, BK, McGinnis, Askew, and then Bregovic, he continues to ride the number 5 position.
A lot of action early on here in the second race for Pro Mazda. Beginning a 3-race run here today for the Mazda Road to Indy event. You'll see USF 2000 next, followed by Indy Lights. But David Malukas and the HMD BN Racing entry pulling away here now from Rinus VK. Parker Thompson now works his way up into the 7th position. We'll start looking at lap times to see if he has anything to close. Malukas, I believe, with the fast lap so far, a 1:18.57. Indeed, the quickest driver on the track at this point. VK 2nd, McGinnis 3rd, Oliver Askew now in the 4th position. 5th is Drugovic. Good run here for the driver leading the way in the Euro Formula Open Series with RP Motorsports in Spain. He's up to P5 in his 2nd Pro Mazda race. Of course, this weekend, his debut. Stingray Robb able to get through the opening lap. Wasn't able to do that yesterday. He went off in turn number 2 and had to fight his way all the way back. Parker Thompson 7th. Mateus Solar Oval has dropped to 8th. Nikita Listoshkin 9th. It's Moises de Oliveira in the 10th position, Chris Wright in 11th, Charles Finelli in 13th, and Carlos Cunha back on the racetrack after losing his wing on the opening incident. John Phippen, a bit of a crazy start, but we've stayed clean and green all the way through.
Got to feel bad for Cunha with that problem on the first lap as taking the wing off the car. He's now a lap down. Well, he's at the tail end of the lead lap, but he's got a lot of ground to make up. He's got to hope for a full course yellow so that he can back up and get back into the hunt. Still looking for his first win. He did move up to 3rd in the points based on his finish yesterday, just off the podium. So again, he's got the opportunity. He has just set the fastest lap of the race running in clear air.
I was going to say, you get a fiery Brazilian like that and put him behind the wheel or behind the 8 ball after an incident. He's going to drive the crap out of the car when he gets going. Really, he's up on the wheel. But as John said, without a full course caution, he's so far back right now, there's no chance for him, I think, even to potentially reach the tail of the field. He's going to need that full course yellow. But so far, 5 laps in, working lap number 5, these drivers kind of settling into the pace like we saw yesterday as well. Malukas, the driver, out front. But again, we got to keep an eye on guys in the championship chase right now. And that's Rinus VK in 2nd and Parker Thompson in 7th.
Yeah, Parker Thompson looks to be gaining just a little bit, but I've been watching Askew. Askew seems to be the driver right now, closing up to maybe a position change. He's quite a ways back, though, Tom, and they're in front of you.
Yeah, that's nothing going to happen this lap, that's to be sure. We take a look back there. The number 82 car, Stingray Robb, he has moved himself up there into the number 6 position. So pretty much station keeping throughout the field right now.
This is where we'll start looking at lap times, John. We'll look at the pace. We'll look at the splits between the drivers. Do you see a trend of a driver's car starting to come in? Normally, we saw it yesterday, fastest laps are going to be at the very end of the race. When the fuel tanks start getting a little low, the cars get a little lighter. As they come across, we watch the lap times. Stingray Robb about 0.2 of a second slower than Parker Thompson. Thompson actually running the same speed as the leader, 117.5. That bodes well for Thompson to potentially work his way back forward.
Yeah, he's got to find about a second to get in contact with Stingray Robb to move into the top 6. Rusty, how's he looking down the back straight?
Well, he's looking pretty good. Stingray Robb closing in on Drugovich this time and definitely closing down. He's only about 5 car lengths back here at the kink. So Stingray Robb trying to make a challenge to get himself up into that 5th spot.
Yeah, Stingray Robb looks really good. His line into the S's are perfect. He makes a good turn in through turn number 5, and he closes it down even more. Drugovich also starting to close up on Askew. So we may have a good 3-way battle here for the 4th spot.
Indeed, the battle you're going to see is Robb closing up 0.2 of a second faster than Drugovich last time by. Parker Thompson there as well. He was almost a full half second quicker than Drugovich. So I think we're going to see that group of 5, 6, 7 kind of come right together pretty soon. They're actually quicker than both Oliver Askew and Robert McGinnis as well. They're closing up a couple of tenths of a second. So it's not like they're that far back. They're continuing to close. Malukas resetting fast lap of the race. Gets down to a 1:17.1. Does anybody else have that kind of speed as they come back across the line? The only driver close is Parker Thompson, 1:17.2, as was VK. So Thompson's got the speed to run in that front 2, front 3. He just either needs a full course yellow or he needs to keep going quicker and quicker. 2, 3, 4 tenths faster than the guys in front of him for the entire race here today.
Working on it down the straightaway again. Stingray Robb closer. Drugovich right in front now. It's only about 3 car lengths, Brian. He tightens it up under braking.
Yeah, he gets it down to almost 2 car lengths here as they make their way into the S's. They're both closing on Askew, and Thompson, he is closing up on all of them. And watch the battle at the point. I would say VK may be starting to make a charge.
Yeah, it looks like he's pulling up just a little bit. Then we look back there for that Stingray Robb, number 82. Indeed, he's just a couple of car lengths now off the rear wing of the 10 of Drugovich.
We'll have a look at them as they work through at Thunder Valley, watching for that battle for that 7th or 6th and 7th position. Right now, Drugovich 5th, Robb 6th, Thompson 7th. That's going to start to tighten up, as we said. We'll look at the split spot up to Oliver Askew as well. He and Drugovich. Askew comes across the line at 1:17.6. Drugovich 0.2 of a second quicker. Robb 0.2 of a second quicker than Drugovich. Thompson 0.2 of a second quicker than Stingray Robb. Parker Thompson, the quickest driver on the racetrack right now with a 1:17.13. 2 tenths faster than the leader. 6.9 seconds back from the leader, but it is definitely tightening up, Rusty Bell, as they come into turn number 2. Drugovich under the attack from Robb.
Robb only a car length now as they come onto the straightaway, so we'll see if he can catch the draft. He's in the draft now by me. See Drugovich driving defensively, Brian. There goes Robb on the outside.
Robb looks to the outside, but not close enough. That's a hard pass to make. We've made it several times. When I've got a car pulling off, I believe it's the 79 car, the 70...
That's the leader.
The leader, 79, Amalkalis, has pulled off to the outside at turn number 5 here. I was watching Stingray Robb. I don't know what happened, but he has parked the car right on the outside of entry of turn number 5.
Trouble for the leader, David Malukas, potentially off in turn number 5, coming to the end of the back straightaway. That would give the lead to Rinus VK. He's in a place right now that we're going to have to go full course yellow unless that car can get pulled off, because that's just off the racetrack. So VK across the line with the lead. McGinnis in 2nd, Askew 3rd, Drugovich in 4th, Robb 5th, 6th is Parker Thompson now. Wow, what a shake-up for David Malukas off the racetrack. He has had, what, a 1.3, 1.4 second lead?
Yeah, he was just controlling the pace and something, obviously, mechanically with the car as he just rolled to a stop there at turn 5. We're getting the replay of it, and I'm stunned. I don't know what to say.
Well, you know, again, these cars are high-performance machines. All it takes is a little wire. You know,
sure.
You talk about the fact sometimes it's a major malfunction. Sometimes it's that 5-cent part that will snap, and the car is left with no power. So again, all he did was coast through turn number 4, potentially electrical. Here's the replay here. He comes over and keeps the car to the far right side of the racetrack. He knew obviously it was dead stick when he came through the corner.
Yep.
And just pulls it off to the side of the track. David doing the best he can to try to get off the racetrack. At this point, we're staying green. He is off to the driver's right, coming out of turn number 4 over to turn number 5. So with 8 laps in, we're still Green right now. The lead 1.2 seconds for Rinus VK. McGinnis runs in second. Askew in third. Here comes the leader, the number 2. Then it's the 9 of McGinnis. We'll watch them all come through. We'll pick up some lap times. 17.4 for the leader. 17.3 for McGinnis. 17.9 for Askew. 17.7 for Drugovich. A 7 for Rob. A 5 for Parker Thompson. So again, closing up for that battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Brian, I guess they're going to do it with a hot pull, right?
John, it's not a hot pull, it's a hot push. The AMR guys ran across the track. Now the car is high centered at the edge of the track. They're trying to get it out of the way. The old-fashioned way, pushing the car out of the way. We'll see. This is not a good spot for them to be. And we got the battles coming right now in front of me. We've got a 3-way battle for that 4th spot. Stingray Rob's going to come under the waving yellows here. They're going to be able to resume. The number 3 car of Askew is going to get swallowed up. We have got a great 3-way battle for the 4th spot coming at you, Tom Michaels, but we're going to be able to get cleared here. It looks like they're going to get it back to the cut.
Yeah, that battle continues there. The 10th car continues in the position. Drugovich, Stingray Rob, going to tuck right in behind. A car length and a half back, and then Parker Thompson looking to move up as well.
Rinus VK dodging a major bullet there. Had they gone full course yellow, would have stacked the whole field up as he works his way across start-finish here. You got these drivers stacking up, as you said, but yeah, Rinus VK first gifted the lead after an issue for Malukas. Malukas tried to get off the racetrack, but the AMR safety crew getting out there, pushed him back behind the wall. There's a cut there that he's able to drag him back through. Wow, very lucky for Rinus VK, because that would have just stacked everyone back up for a restart.
Makes you wonder about what discussions went on in the Junco stable, because they would have certainly wished for a full course yellow to allow Carlos Cunha to catch up, but hey, it's just the way it fell.
No, I think they'd be fine with going full, keeping it green. Yeah, they don't want. Carlos has got his own deal going on. They're running first and second right now. The last thing they would have wanted to see was a full course yellow. Now, here's the issue here, and we talked about this yesterday. Stingray Rob has been able to reel in Drugovich, but he hasn't pulled the trigger, hasn't made the move yet, and that's what's tough. When you get up there, you got to pounce, because once you get behind a car, you start getting in that aero wash. You lose the way the air flows over the car. You lose a lot of the downforce off of the front wing when you're close. The air kind of just goes over top of you and does not impact the front wing, which gives you the front downforce. When you're in some of the fast sweepers here, like turn number 1, such a tough corner, you try to get in there, and you lose that front wing, and the car's going to understeer almost off the racetrack. So it's tough to set the pass up in 2 or the pass up in 4 when you've lost all that aero in the front wing. I would expect to see Parker Thompson start to get aggressive here right now. If Stingray Rob can't do it, Parker Thompson's got to go at it himself.
Coming at you, Rusty.
Watching them now across track, they've stretched out just a little bit. As you talked about, Rob, that air coming over their wings, they need a little bit of space to get the car, the downforce to hook up, to get through turn 1 and into the keyhole right now. As they come onto the straightaway, they'll try to catch that draft. The place to make the pass here is at the top end of the straight. Nobody close enough right now. Stingray Rob is tightening it up. He gets a couple of car lengths here at the kink, but then he is right in that wash behind. He cannot make that pass on Drugovich.
Yeah, Stingray Rob gets there. He can get within a car length here as he makes his way through the S's. We're talking about the aero grip comes into play, but through the S's, mechanical grip is more important. Tom Michaels in front of you, that great 3-way battle.
Yeah, right now, Stingray Rob is a car length and a half off the rear of the 10th car of Drugovich. And right now at this point, Parker Thompson, I should say, he is not able to pull up and get on the rear wing of Rob.
Those 3 separated by just about a second between them. We just got a report from one of our print reporters, and thanks to Bob Miller and his crew, John Ness talked to the crew of our early leader, David Malukas. He said the engine just died. They tried to reset all the electronics to see if they could get it to come to life, and no deal. So, like you said, maybe that 5-cent part is what put our pole sitter and leader out of what was a pretty comfortable lead at the time.
Yeah, major disappointment for David Malukas as he had the lead pretty much in hand. Would have been a pretty solid battle, I would expect, through to the end of this race, whether or not Rinus VK had the pace to close up. Rinus, though, down to a 117.9 now. McGinnis a 116.9. Here's the interesting thing. Rinus VK now has 5 wins on the season. Swept the weekend at St. Petersburg, swept the weekend in Toronto, and won yesterday. Robert McGinnis has not yet won. He's been racing with Rinus. They raced in the MRF Challenge in India in the offseason. These guys have been traveling together. They've been racing together. McGinnis wants that win. He's got one in USF 2001, the opening race at St. Petersburg last year. But I'll tell you, if he's got whatever it takes to close up, he needs to try to go for that race win, because you got to get that victory under your belt, that first one. We'll see if McGinnis, he was quicker by 0.2 of a second last time by, and right now only a second, the difference.
He's visibly closer as they come across the line right now. We'll see what timing and scoring has to say. I would guess it's under a second, and it is. 0.8 of a second. New fast lap for Robert McGinnis. Rusty Bell, we got a battle for the lead in addition to that great battle back for fourth.
Yeah, we're going to watch that. McGinnis was struggled there at the beginning. The heat not in the tires, and he did not get around turn one and sort of stack the field up behind. But now the tires have come in, and he has begun to turn the wick up. He is closing up on the back of VK, and we'll see if he can get any closer. We also see that Stingray Robb is definitely closer to Drugovich right now and is in the draft. He is close enough to pull the trigger here at the top end if he can get there. He's down the inside, Brian. It looks like Drugovich fakes to the inside there to take a defensive line and holds up Stingray Robb.
Yeah, Drugovich does. He takes the defensive line, but Stingray Robb right there trying to he's peeking to the inside of turn number 6, not close enough to get that pass done. So two great battles on the track in front of you, Tom.
Yep, that battle for the lead, probably 3 car lengths separating VK and McGinnis. And about a car length and a half, that's the lead for Drugovich right now over Robb. We're getting toward the middle portions of this race.
Yeah, we're just past the halfway point, Tom. They've now got 13 laps in the books as they come across. They'll make that 14 laps in the books. So we have 11 remaining in this 25-lap contest. Second half of this second race for the drivers in Pro Mazda. Again, VK and McGinnis first and second. That gap down to now 0.6 of a second is again McGinnis over 0.2 faster than Rinus VK. Drugovich stepping things up a little bit as he's trying to hold off Stingray Robb, but Stingray's got to make the move here, Rusty. He's with about 2 lengths as they come down the hill through turn number 2. He has got to get a run here coming out of this corner.
Yeah, he's got to make that pass. He gets there and he just doesn't attempt it. He needs to make that pass, but the front, we're not going to talk about it in tenths. We're going to talk about it in car lengths. It's about 4 car lengths now.
Yeah, the battle for the lead keeps shaping up better and better. We're watching the number 9 of McGinnis closing up on VK. He gets it down to 4 car lengths, but even closer is Stingray Robb on Drugovich, not able to pull the trigger, and Thompson's being held up there too.
Yeah, we'll watch for that battle right now for 4th place. It goes by us now, and it is 2 car lengths separating Drugovich and Robb. That's about the same distance between the first place runners right now. Rinus VK and Robert McGinnis.
Well, to be honest, Stingray Robb's had a couple of shots at it. He just has not pulled the trigger. He was able to get down to within about a length. Sometimes you got to force the issue unless Stingray Robb say, you know what, 5th place finish, I'm pretty good with it. I had a rough one yesterday. I was off track. I battled my way back to, I believe, 9th position was the result yesterday. Hey, P5, I started 7th. I'll take that position. Normally, drivers will try to move forward, but again, when you're thinking about just getting that experience, you've had a great run, you continue to put the pressure on him, maybe try to force him to make the mistake as opposed to try to make that an over-aggressive pass. But again, Rusty, as he comes out of turn 2, he's right now in the slipstream.
Oh, I'm not thinking P5. If I'm in that car, there's no way. I'm going for it. And right now, he's close enough again. That last lap, Drugovich had to drive defensively. He does so again. Now Robb to the outside, but he can't get there, Brian.
Oh, I tell you what, Drugovich made 2 moves there at the end of the back straightaway. He was blocking the inside, and Stingray Robb went to the high side and got blocked again. So Stingray Robb, I'm going to see some steam coming out underneath that helmet, and the battle for the lead gets even tighter.
Indeed it does. Less than a car length separating 4th and 5th right now. Drugovich still with the advantage. Still just kind of peeking around there in 6th place is Parker Thompson.
Guarantee you race control will be having a look at that double move by Drugovich down into turn number 4. Indeed, moved to the inside and came back out a little bit. Battle for that position continuing, and Stingray Robb and that brilliant yellow Team Pelfrey number 82 continues to push. Parker Thompson right there as well, kind of waiting for something to happen, but again, it looks like his car's leveled off a little bit. Leaders now down to below the 117s on a consistent basis. Both those drivers 116.963s, almost identical laps for Rinus VK and Robert McGinnis up front. McGinnis is going to have the same trouble, John, that Stingray Robb has. Unless he gets aggressive on a move, he's going to get up behind him. That's when you start getting that aero wash. You start losing the downforce off the front wing. Car's going to understeer a little bit. As I said, though, McGinnis is going to want to go for this victory. He hasn't got one yet this year. Of course, Rinus VeeKay kind of leading the Juncos Racing team. He's your point leader right now as well. But Robert McGinnis hungry for that first Pro Mazda win.
Well, of course, and they are teammates, too. And the cardinal rule is don't take out your teammates. So he probably won't do anything crazy, but I know he's going to want to get that win.
Coming out of Thunder Valley, here come your leaders up and over the rise at turn number 11. Through turn 12 and back to 13. Great run so far. Rinus VeeKay, of course, getting the lead when David Malukas had a mechanical issue and went out over in turn number 5. The gap about a half a second, just over a half a second last time. By this time, as they come by the stripe, Rinus resets fast lap of the race. He drops down to 1:16.703. Now it's 0.8 of a second almost the lead for Rinus VeeKay over Robert McGinnis. He's going to try to go on a 4-race win streak here to get the victory and extend the point lead heading to the oval round at Gateway Motorsports Park. Not the way Parker Thompson wanted to see this weekend going, as he's now running in the 6th position.
Side by side there for a second at the entry to the keyhole turn. That battle's all closed up, less than a car length now, as we watch those Drugovich, Stingray Rob, Parker Thompson now involved in that. They're coming down nose to tail here at the kink. Somebody's going to make a move. There they go. They're trying the outside. Parker Thompson down to the inside.
3 wide here at the end, almost there. Stingray Rob goes the high side, gets it done. Rob makes the move. They're still side by side going into turn number 6. We'll see if Rob gets it done. Awesome pass. Stingray Rob gets the spot. Tom Michaels coming at you. What a move.
And he's starting to stretch it out now as he comes through turn number 9. 2.5, 3 car lengths. The distance between 4th place Stingray Rob, 5th place Philippe Drugovich. Parker Thompson did not make the move on that run. We'll see if he can maybe the next lap.
Well, I think Parker Thompson was saying, you know what, I'm not going to risk it here right now. Drugovich has already lost a spot. You get too aggressive there, and that's when he tries to slam the door because he wants to minimize the damage. But what a pass for Stingray Rob, second-year driver here in Pro Mazda, the young pilot out of Idaho. He has been hounding Drugovich for the last number of laps. A great move to be able to hold that position to the outside. What a pass that was. And you can see Thompson was trying to go through there as well. What a tremendous run for Stingray Rob, and you're already seeing him pull away now. Now let's put the pressure back on Parker Thompson. He runs P6. He knows now that the leader is the guy pulling away from him in the championship points. They'll be on the radio saying, come on, Parker, we have got to get this next spot. You've got to get Drugovich. You've got to get Rob. There's just about 6 laps remaining. I think 7 laps remaining here in this race. Parker Thompson up on the wall here right now, because otherwise he's going to find that point lead that he had coming in being a big gap, a big deficit moving to Gateway. This is going to be a great battle throughout the remainder of the season. Rinus VeeKay, John, has the momentum. That's one of the things we talk about all the time. When a young kid has momentum, he believes he can win. They get out there and they just roll the dice.
About 6 laps to go, as Parker Thompson did not get a good run through Thunder Valley, as he has fallen back just a little bit, as he was right on the tail end.
Oh, driver off. That's the number 1 of Carlos Cunha off on the outside, folks, of turn number 13. Yellow flag flying in here, so local yellow in turn 13. That's just coming out of the carousel of the switchback, the left-hander to come back
yellow on
the straightaway. Full course yellow. Wow. Full course yellow. Carlos Cunha from Juncos Racing has just stacked up this field. They'll be able to get that car off quickly. We are going to have, I would expect, potentially a 3, maybe a 4-lap dash here in Pro Mazda.
I was just about to say 6 laps left as they came across the stripe, and Cunha throws it off the track. Now, all of the conspiracy theorists will say that Cunha's Juncos team managers went down to McGinnis's team managers and says, how much for a little help here?
Well, remember, they're all on the same team. That's the problem. They're all Juncos Racing. They're going to be like, what did you just do? We had first and second locked and loaded. Of course, the first 2 drivers, Rinus VeeKay and Robert McGinnis, both with Juncos Racing, they had the opening 2 or the first 2 spots on the podium locked. 5 laps to go. They had a big gap over Oliver Askew by, 6 seconds, 6.5 seconds.
And that's gone.
This is gone right now. Carlos Cunha, they're going to get him pulled and pushed back behind the wall very quickly. We're obviously not going to go green this time, but they'll have this cleaned up to go green next time by. They're going to put lap number 20 in the books right now. So 20 laps down, 5 to go. When they come back around to get the green, there'll be 4 laps remaining. Robert McGinnis with a shot at going after the race win. Oliver Askew with a shot at trying to get up there front as well. Stingray Rob now into the 4th position. Started 7th. What a run for Stingray. He's full of energy and confidence now after that pass on Drugovich. Biggest happy guy out now here is Parker Thompson.
Yep.
He's P6. He's going to get a shot at doing something. And as we always say, yellows breed yellows. So get ready, folks. Pro Mazda, you guys up at turn number 2 are in a great place because this is going to be a wild restart. It'll be 4 to go.
And I want to give a tip of the hat to Charles Finelli, who pulled aside to let the leaders go by. He was had just gone a lap down, so he's letting the entire queue go by. He's picking up at the back. He knows he doesn't have a chance for the win, and he doesn't want to mix it up with these leaders. And I'm sure we'll probably go green this time by as they've got Cunha's car behind the barrier.
Yeah, we'll watch that right now. We also got some reports there that Stingray Rob touched the back of Drugovich when he made that pass up and down the straightaway. He had bumped up in turn 2, looking to see if there's any damage on that car, Stingray Rob. I don't see any, and I got a report that he's going to be counseled at the end of this race, which I'm sure he'll be smiling if that happens.
Better to be counseled than to be black flagged or told to make a drive-through penalty.
True enough. And again, aggressive racing. Drugovich, I don't want to say this that he deserved a little bump and run, but when you're blocking like that, you got to expect there's going to be contact for sure. And I'm not surprised if there's a little touch in turn number 2. It didn't overly affect things, but of course it just maybe ruins the drive out of the corner a bit. We're expected to go green this time by. Need the lights out in the pace car. They're going to pull off here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a 4-lap dash to cap things off here in Pro Mazda. Everyone's stacking it back up. VK, McGinnis, Askew, Rob, Drugovich, and Thompson, your top 6 drivers. McGinnis with an opportunity to potentially go for his first ever Pro Mazda race win with a young driver from New York behind it. They're jumping on the throttle. Here we come. Onto the front straightaway. Green, green, green. Racing back under the Cooper Tires bridge. McGinnis right there, up onto the gearbox as he tries to work his way through turn number 1. It's the long straightaway down to turn number 2. Rusty Bell, important part of this racetrack. Here we go.
Up into the top of the keyhole, the battle for second, a little bit close now. Askew looking for a way around McGinnis, but Stingray Rob closes in under braking. Stingray Rob's car really good under braking. We've seen that at the top end of the straightaway, and he's good on the entry to the keyhole. He is now the one looking to make a move right now. He's under the rear wing of Askew. Now he's down to the outside, Brian. He's going to try that outside move.
He's got the position right now. Stingray Rob, the front end pushes out. He goes wide. He's back to the 4th spot. Stingray Rob had the position, but took the brakes too late. He's back to the 4th spot. Askew there in 3rd. Top 2 getting away just a little bit. Thompson trying to make a move.
Yeah, right now pretty much equidistance for all the cars as you go through the top 7, then a little distance back to the number 8 car with Stoshkin in 8th place. Leader continues to be BK.
They were 2 by 2 down into turn number 4. Of course, we know that Stingray Rob was on the outside of Oliver Askew. I believe Parker Thompson tried the inside of Drugovich as well. Here they go. 3 laps to go this time by. McGinnis not close enough to challenge VK. Thompson trying to reset to see if he can't go back at Drugovich. And the same goes for Stingray Rob. He's probably about 4 or 5 car lengths behind Oliver Askew. A very aggressive move into turn number 4. Wasn't able to make it stick there. Can he get himself set up for another one here late in the race? I expected a little more to Parker Thompson trying to make that move because he needs it. He needs to move up a couple more spots here to try to stay close to Rinus VK in the championship. But Rusty, they'll work their way down here again. We'll see if anybody else is in position to make a pass.
Yeah, I think they're too far apart. That last lap challenge really shuffles the field a bit and extends the gaps out. They're going to have to set up for a pass on the next lap as everybody evenly spaced now coming down the straightaway.
Rob closes it down to about a car length, the top of 5. Back end slips out on Stingray Rob's car. VK getting away from McGinnis. Askew falling into the clutches of Rob.
Yeah, VK right now is running away from the teammate Robert McGinnis. And so far not able to challenge the Stingray Rob. He's probably 2-3 car lengths behind the car of Askew. He's up there in the 3rd position. VK, McGinnis, Askew, Rob, and then Drugovich.
Fast lap of the race still belongs to Robert McGinnis. That's a bonus point for him as well. He runs P2. This would be his best finish of the year. Askew on the podium in Toronto, trying to do it again here in Mid-Ohio as well. No challenge at this point here, as the guys had said, in that full lap around. No one close enough to really make a move. I thought Stingray Robb had closed up a little bit more as they worked their way through the 6, 7, 8, 9 combination of corners here in the back part of the racetrack. But again, probably 4 kart lengths as they work their way out of turn number 2. Closest, I think, Rusty Bell right now is that battle between Drugovich and Parker Thompson. He's back on the gearbox once again.
Yeah, Thompson's right there. No other battles here in front of him. So, and Thompson back about 2 car lengths maybe here at the kink. He's really going to have to push it to try to get around. We're coming up on the white flag lap. They got to make it happen next time by.
Yeah, everybody getting away from everybody else. The only challenge is Thompson. Thompson closes up on Drugovich. Drugovich holding him off in turn 6. It's about a car length. Tom Michaels, when they get in front of you, that's the best battle. Thompson trying to get points.
Thompson trying to get points, but he's still got a car length and a half that he's got to pull up there to pull up on Drugovich. Not able to do it.
Nobody making any mistakes here these last couple of laps. Thompson and Drugovich, the primary battle we're watching. That's for the final position within the top 5. But white flag will fly this time by for Rinus VK. He's looking to try to win his 4th straight Pro Mazda event. He went from a significant back, plus 40 back from Parker Thompson, to a pretty solid advantage now when we work our way through here. Final lap as they'll come down into turn number 2. Rinus VK out front, the gap 0.8 of a second last time by. Of course, looking to see if Robb has anything for Askew and if Thompson has anything for Drugovich.
Yeah, nothing so far coming out of the keyhole turn. I don't know that anybody's close enough to make anything happen. I see Thompson trying to close up once again, but he's back 2 car lengths. He's back too far to make that move. He's peaks there, but it's not going to happen.
You're right, Rusty. He's just not close enough. Stingray Robb not close enough either. So VK, McGinnis, Askew, Robb, and Thompson headed for you, Tom Michaels, and around the horn to the checkers.
Yep. No challenge at the front. There's not a challenge right now for the 3rd place position either. Askew still has about 3 car lengths on Stingray Robb.
Here comes Rinus VK up over the rise in turn number 11 down to the carousel turn number 12. Gifted the lead and now the victory after the departure of David Malukas onto the front straightaway. Back to back to back to back jacks for Rinus VK. 4 wins in a row. He goes on an amazing streak here midway through the season to take a commanding point lead to Gateway Motorsports Park. VK over his teammate Robert McGinnis. Best career run here in Pro Mazda for Robert McGinnis, P2. Oliver Askew, last year's USF 2000 champion, back on the podium where he was in Toronto, P3 for the young driver out of Florida. Stingray Robb started 7th. He was the show, I think, here today. Stingray making some great passes to work his way into 4th position. Felipe Drugovich, the rookie driver here this weekend with RP Motorsports Racing, rounding out your top 5. Man, what a race. Rinus VK up front just, again, did not put a wheel wrong. And you can do that when you're leading.
Exactly right. It looked like he was controlling the pace pretty much the entire race. He really wasn't under any pressure from his teammate, Robert McGinnis. And, again, he was gifted that lead, of course, with the bad luck from our pole sitter, David Malukas. But if you look at the point spread, he's got now over a full race points cushion over Parker Thompson going into the oval at Gateway. Of course, with the extra bonus points for Gateway, that's certainly going to help. But Parker Thompson, he's going to have to get with the program if he's going to have a chance to retake the championship lead.
The one thing about a championship like this, we just saw Rinus VK go on a 4-race win streak. Parker Thompson goes on a 3-race win streak, and it's going to come down to where the other guys are finishing. So
exactly.
Again, and we know Parker Thompson can do it. Indeed, the gap right now about 31 points.
Thereabouts, yeah.
33 points up for grabs any weekend. More, of course, for the oval as well. But again, congratulations to Rinus VK. A tremendous run for him. He scores the win over Robert McGinnis and Oliver Askew. I'm going to head down to Victory Lane.
Indeed. We'll have Rob right back up with us after he interviews the winning drivers here as we'll kick off pre-race for the USF 2000 finale, the only leg of the Mazda Road to Indy with 3 races this weekend as their 3rd and final race coming up. Kyle Kirkwood has won both of them. He already clinched the championship. He is on a string of 8 consecutive wins. Can he make it 9 in a row here today as the young phenom with a very bright future? I had the fortune of calling him in the F4 United States Championship powered by Honda, and he has done a fantastic job there, winning the championship in commanding fashion a year ago, and he's doing the same thing in the USF 2000. He's a former Team USA scholarship winner, and certainly one of the rising stars in open wheel racing. So we'll look for him to see if he can sweep the weekend here at Mid-Ohio. But first things first, we've got the podium ceremonies for Pro Mazda coming up, followed by the USF 2000 race. Then we go Indy Lights racing for the final race of their weekend. And then it's all preparation for the feature event of the weekend, the Honda Indy 200. It's going to take the green flag at 3:30 this afternoon.
Third place trophy, one of our guests of Cooper Tires, Ian Kennedy. Ian, thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing that hardware up here to Oliver. Hop up there and pose for a photo with him as well, please. Again, Oliver Askew, a tremendous run for the young driver out of Florida. Ian, thank you so much. Big day for the drivers, actually a big weekend for Juncos Racing as they're able to go 1-2 here at the very end. Coming home in second spot, his best ever Pro Mazda finish. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for second place, Robert McGinnis. P2 for Robert McGinnis today. Tremendous run as he chased the leader from start to finish. To present him with his second place trophy, another one of our guests from Cooper Tires, Chris Fleck. Chris will bring that P2 trophy in. Robert finishing third yesterday. So a good haul of hardware for the young driver out of New York State. Robert McGinnis coming home in that second position. Talk a lot about momentum and confidence in this Mazda Road to Indy, and the driver who was able to work his way to the top of the box has done so in the last 4 races. 4 straight races. He eliminates a deficit in the points. He'll leave here with a 31-point lead unofficially as we head to Gateway. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner today in Pro Mazda. Put your hands together for Rinus VeeKay. Stay down here with me, Rinus. We'll let your Cooper Tire girl on top. Give me a turn here, please. Congratulations, bud. 4th straight win. But it wasn't easy. You were chasing David Malukas for a majority of that, or at least the early part of that race. What were your thoughts when you saw him pull off to the side of the track?
First thought, I was really happy. Just a free place I got. But I also feel very sorry for him because he has great pace and he deserved the win. But yeah, I'm really happy to take my 6th win of the season.
Can you give us some input on the racetrack? How was it compared to yesterday? Was there a lot of grip out there?
It was quite the same, a little bit cooler, some clouds in the air. But now instead of David Malukas, I had my teammate Robert McGinnis on my tail.
Congratulations on today.
Thank you.
Again, there's your winner today, folks. Rinus VeeKay. Get on top of the box there for me, Rinus. Fantastic run for the guys from Juncos Racing. And to present him with the first place trophy against the Cooper Tire, Scott Schimler. Thank you so much, Scott. Again, another first-place trophy. As Rinus said, 4 in a row, 6th win of the 2018 season. He swept the weekend in St. Petersburg, swept the weekend in Toronto, and he swept the weekend here at Mid-Ohio as well. Seems to like these Green Savory events, as he has been dominant in those races. Rinus VeeKay for Juncos Racing, once again, on the top of the box here today. USF 2000 drivers about set to go as well. They'll roll on track here momentarily. The drivers in the very first rung of the Mazda Road to Indy. We already have our champion crown. That came in the opening race of their triple header here at Mid-Ohio. Kyle Kirkwood from Jupiter, Florida for Cape Motorsports. 8 race wins in a row and clinching the championship with 5 races left. He would go on to win race number 2 here this weekend. We'll try to do it again here right now. James Raven starting on the pole position, though, for race number 3 of this triple header weekend. Pro Mazda and Indy Lights drivers will go from here. But a month's time, we're back on track at the Ultra Quick Gateway Motorsports Park. That event, of course, coming back onto the Verizon IndyCar Series schedule last year. And it was packed, an absolute packed house at Gateway. They do a great job with local promotion. It's a good opportunity for them to see these young drivers in this Mazda Road to Indy. Indy Lights and Pro Mazda on the oval. USF 2000 drivers will be off for over a month, and they will be back on track, going wheel to wheel at Portland International Raceway, the finale of this year's Mazda Road to Indy. Again, they'll be up next, followed by Indy Lights. And then the Verizon IndyCar Series will roll out for their main event here at Mid-Ohio. It is going to be a great one. Weather obviously making things interesting here. A little cooler here with some cloud cover coming in. That'll change things for the drivers in USF 2000 and Indy Lights. This track here at Mid-Ohio just changes so much with the different temperatures, the cloud cover, the grip levels just varying. Anytime you go out onto the racetrack, you have to get a good feel early to find out exactly how your car is going to handle it with the setup that your engineers and staff has wrenched into that car. But as we wrap things up here in Victory Lane, some great photos here with guests from Cooper Tires, from High Tide Boat Lifts. Just got a lot of great partners here with us here this weekend. Of course, Cooper Tires just up the road in Findlay, Ohio.
Thanks, Rob Howden, as he concludes the Victory Circle ceremonies. Just two quick announcements as we're setting up for the finale for the USF 2000. Season race pass holders, remember your pre-race grid walk is today. Please plan to meet at the pit lane access point at
2018 season. Next to me, James Ray, the pole sitter for the 12th round of 2018. James, it's your first pole of the season. Big field of USF 2000 drivers behind you. What do you have to do in this race to stay out front and stand on the podium?
Just try and get a good start, get a good run off 2, and make sure I don't get overtaken into 4. Just going to try and keep consistency is the key here around here, because it's quite hard to pass. So I'll just be trying to stay consistent and hit my marks and go from there, basically.
All right, that's James Raven, your pole sitter for round number 12 here today. James, it's his first pole of the year. He comes to us by way of Portsmouth, England. He's come over here to the United States to race on the premier open-wheel ladder system to get drivers into the top level of American open-wheel racing, the Verizon IndyCar Series, and he's doing that on the Mazda Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. We know a lot of you are here today to watch the Honda 200, the IndyCar race, but you need to be paying attention to Mazda Road to Indy racing because that is the future of the Verizon IndyCar Series. We've got a field of USF 2000 drivers on pit lane here behind us. You can look all the way down almost to turn 11. We've got over 23 cars, 24 to be exact, lined up nose to tail, ready to go racing. There's a good look at car number 8, Kyle Kirkwood from Jupiter, Florida. He has locked up the championship title here in USF 2000, which means next year he will be racing with help from Mazda in the Pro Mazda Championship presented by Cooper Tires. The champion there goes to Indy Lights, and the champion Indy Lights is an Indy car the following year. So we are getting ready to go racing. That's a little bit of information on the Mazda Road to Indy. Let's introduce you to the starting field for round number 12 of 2018. Starting in the 24th position, driver of the number 38 USF 2000 for Newman Walks Racing, it's Oscar De Luzuriaga. Ahead of him, starting in the 23rd position, racing out of Grand Junction, Colorado, she's a rookie in the number 31, Sabra Cook. Starting in the 22nd position, driver of the number 24. We've seen this driver up at the front of the field already several times this weekend. In the number 24 for Pabst Racing, Kalen Frederick. David Osborne starts 21st with Corey Enders from D-Force Racing rolling off in 20th. Team Pelfrey supplies the number 82 car that Bruna Tomaselli drives from the 19th position. Dakota Dickerson returns to the Mazda Road to Indy after a little bit of time off. He's racing with arms up and starts in the 18th position. Starting in the 17th spot, driver of the number 27, it's Colin Kaminsky. Starting 16th, another one of the Pabst Racing machines in the number 21, Calvin Ming. Now into the top 15, it's another one of the Team Pelfrey machines, rookie in the number 81 out of the Pacific Northwest, Kyle DePel. Starting 14th for BN Racing, another rookie in number 29, Russell McDonough. Starting 13th for Newman Walks Racing in the number 36 car, it's Darren Keene. Making one of his only starts so far this season on the Mazda Road to Indy, he's a rookie in the number 79, racing for Able Motorsports, its driver, Jacob Abel. Now to the 11th position and the exclusive auto sports portion of this USF 2000 grid. In the number 92, it's rookie Daniel Frost rolling off 11th. Now inside the top 10 we go. A very impressive weekend. It's his debut weekend here on the Mazda Road to Indy. In the number 90 for exclusive auto sport, Yuvan Sundramurthy. Igor Fraga, his teammate at Exclusive Autosport, rolls off 9th in the number 91. Pabst Racing supplies the black number 22 car. Cole will drive from 8th on the grid. Starting in 7th for D-Force, it's Jose Sierra with Michael D. Orlando starting in 6th. Julian Vanderwatt and Rasmus Lind roll off 5th and 4th. And on the inside of row number 2, it's rookie Keith Donegan in the 3rd position. On the front row, it's the driver that's already locked up the USF 2000 Championship out of Jupiter, Florida for Cape Motorsports, Kyle Kirkwood. And we just spoke to him. He's your pole sitter. It's his first pole of the year out of Portsmouth, England. Your driver that'll lead him to the green flag for D-Force Racing, number 7, James Raven. So, folks, that is how they line up for round number 12 and the final race of the weekend here in USF 2000. With that, we are ready to go racing, and we now get ready to welcome guest of Cooper Tire, Kyle Heitmeyer, as he gives us those most famous words in racing as we get ready for Mazda Road to Indy.
On behalf of everybody at Cooper Tires, drivers, start your engines, Mazda engines.
And just like that, it's time to go racing on the Mazda Road to Indy. Get ready, folks. We go upstairs for the call.
Rob Howden alongside me. I'm John Phippen. We're overlooking the finish line. Welcome to those of you listening here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course and, of course, across the world in the web stream. We're glad to have you with us here at Mid-Ohio as this is the finale of a triple header for USF 2000, and it's been all Kyle Kirkwood all the time. 8 consecutive wins. Nobody else has been atop the box since the second round at Grand Prix of Indianapolis.
What's really interesting is the fact that Kyle hasn't dominated every race. He's also been lucky. Good to be lucky, lucky to be good. There have been times where he has been in maybe second or third and guys have wrecked in front of him, or he has been just pounding a driver and able to make an easier pass. He hasn't dominated every race. He has this particular weekend. He's been looking very good. But again, he got the luck early with the contact between Kalen Frederick and Rasmuth Lint. Then Rasmuth goes off by himself on the opening lap in turn number 1. It was Kalen Frederick who went off by himself in turn number 1 at the start of race number 2. So you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. But Kyle's had just such a fantastic season. I spoke with him yesterday. Just that stress that's off of him right now. He knew that they were going to win the championship just based on what was going on. But to have that done, you can kind of put 2018 to bed to a certain extent. He wants to win some more races, but he's already thinking about 2019.
Exactly. Let's introduce the other voices you'll be hearing throughout the rest of the day. As the cars leave our view through turn number 1, they head up toward the keyhole and Rusty Bell.
Good day, everybody. Looking forward to the USF 2000 Cooper Tires sponsored race as the pace car makes its way onto the back straightaway. I pick up the cars around turn 1, a very high-speed left-hand corner. They make their way up a straightaway uphill into the keyhole turn, which is a 180-degree off-camber corner, which sets them up for the long back straightaway here with a kink about 2/3 of the way down where our position is, and then they make their way in the best passing area at the top end of the straightaway, heavy on the brakes.
And that's Brian Culbertson at that area. Hey, Brian.
Hey, John, and hello, S's. We're starting to get filled up back here, getting ready for this USF 2000. Like Rusty said, the end of the back straightaway, the best passing place at the house right now. The field making their way through turn number 4 is a hard right-hander. They drop down a small hill and then climb back up into turn number 5. It's a left-hander. They drop back down the hill again to turn number 6. It's a hard right-hander. They go underneath the Honda Bridge and they head for Thunder Valley.
And in Thunder Valley is Tom Michaels. Hey, Tom.
Hey, John, and hi, everyone. Front of the field in front of us in turn number 9. We picked them up coming off 7. A couple of right-hand turns, 8 and 9, off camber, up over a little bit of a ridge, and then down into Thunder Valley. Bending right-hand turn at turn 10. A left-hander at turn 11 on into the carousel. We got a good crowd forming over here. As a matter of fact, all of the no parking areas are pretty much full of cars.
We're going to get the start right here in front of us, and to call the start, here's Rob Howden.
Thank you so much, John. Field set by the fastest laps turned in race number 2. That was James Raven, so he's going to set the pace. They'll come out at turn number 12, the carousel to 13, into the punch-off area, and we're underway. Green, green, green. Not a good start, though, for Raven. He got a little bump from behind from Keith Donigan. Trying to go around the outside at turn number 1. Kyle Kirkwood's going to hold it. Kirkwood with a good lead. As I said, Raven did not punch off quick enough. They'll work their way to that opening corner, and Kyle Kirkwood has gone to the lead already. Rusty Bell looks to be like Raven on full defense.
Yeah, he was really moving the car around to try to keep that car of Dunigan behind him. We'll watch him now down the straightaway. It's Kirkwood, as you said, already out in front of here and trying to walk away, looking for another win. Already has a couple of car lengths out. That 28 machine right behind as we see him, but no movement there. The battle is for third.
Great battle there for third, Kyle Kirkwood, and that 8-ball already pulling out. He's got about a 2-car advantage. We drop back to that third spot, the 28. Dugan able to hold on to that. The field makes their way through. We got 2 cars getting together here right before 6. Headed for you, Tom. I got 3 cars off, sorry, as I followed the field through. The 11 car is off, and he is stalled. We've also got car number 9.
Yeah, that's Dakota Dickerson, guys.
Yeah, Dickerson, he's rejoining, and the 36 car is off here, and he is, the front wing is skew on that car. Back to the race.
Darren Keene cannot buy a break. I see the AMR safety team's already got out there. Corey Anderson, the number 11, and we are, I believe, already full course yellow. Darren Keene can simply not buy a break in the number 36 machine. And if indeed it's a 36 that was involved, that guy, the bad luck that has chased him here this year, I'm telling you, it blows me away. Indeed, here come his teammates, David Osborne from Columbus, Ohio, and Oscar de Luzuriaga. They're by. So indeed, Keene was the driver involved. The sole red number 9 of Dakota Dickerson in the incident as well. He's continued, but I'm telling you, John, We talked about luck for Kyle Kirkwood. He's had lots of it. Darren Keene has had none this year.
Absolutely. And Dakota Dickerson only doing a partial season in the USF 2000 this year. He's the points leader in the F4 championship. And Dakota's just having some bad luck. He's had to come from the back twice already. He's going to have to do it again. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, the 11 car, unfortunately, is going to need a wrecker. So we're going to be yellow out here at least one full lap. Corey Ender's car is that they're going to have to use a record to get it off. The other two cars headed back, so headed back to pit lane. They should be getting in pit lane right now to get their damages fixed.
Yeah.
Dickerson was able to continue, but we've got Darren Keene down here. It looks like a new front ring.
Yeah, Darren Keene brings the number 36 Newman Walks racing entry in, Brian. They're going to go to work on it. They're also looking at some suspension pieces as well. They're going to get that front cowl off. You got to, with this car, you kind of have to take off the front cowl that goes over top of the shocks as well to get it up underneath. That's just the design of it. They're doing a great job going to work on it right now. Again, Brian Hallahan and his crew here for Newman Walks Racing, trying to get him back out onto the track. The record taking care of Corey Ender, so they're slow still on the racetrack. They have time. They'll take their time to make sure it's right here for Darren Keene. But as I said, just no luck at all for this young driver to Boca Raton, Florida. His second year in the series, actually only his first full year in USF 2000. But, man, I go back and look at some of the races from this year where nothing to do with him. At Road America, he was taken out by Kyle Dupel, drove in the inside of him in Canada Corner. At Toronto, he was having a great battle with Jose Sierra. Sierra coming across in turn 4, pitching him into the wall. Sierra actually getting the brunt of it, but it wrecked Darren's race as well. We saw the restart wreck here when they were single file, stacking everybody up. He's finally down and away, back rolling again. They've got the new front wing on, but for a guy like Darren Keene, and he's such a great kid too,
yeah.
But to have to deal with that much frustration over a full season, it's just got to wear on you.
Exactly right. And, you know, he and Kyle Kirkwood used to race together all the time back in go-karts. And I'm sure he's thinking, you know, how come he gets all the luck and I get none of it? What's up with that?
And that's it. That's the conversation you have with these young kids. Like,
yeah.
We used to race wheel to wheel. I've watched Darren and Kyle run down in Florida for the Ocala Grand Prix crew. And of course, the Keens had their own program as well, their own racing team. This is a kid that won tons of races, and you come here and you say, how is the luck bad for me, but not for him? Dakota Dickerson brings the number 9 into pit lane. I can't see any damage from my side here. Maybe, you know what, they're probably just going to take the opportunity to look over the car here now. The arms up crew jumping out, having a look at the front suspension, potentially get some feedback from Dakota. But no, you know what, it's a wise move from a driver with experience saying, hey, you know what, I've got time. I'm going to start at the tail of the field anyways. Let's pull in. Let the team have a good look at the car.
When he came by the first time, didn't come right into the pits, but he slowed right down. One of the crew members was right out at the pit wall to give a quick visual check of the car. And since they have an extra lap of full course yellow, they made the good decision to come in and get that done. Rusty, you said they had a close shave, though, coming down the back straightaway after the full course yellow came out.
Well, the AMR safety vehicle was coming around turn 1 and had checked up, as they will normally take the track cut here to get themselves repositioned, and started to make the turn as Dakota Dickerson was coming through turn 1. So they both had to just check up a bit to make sure that they didn't impact each other. And so obviously that didn't happen. And Dakota Dickerson, the lights go out on those cars, so we're ready to go. He has closed it in on the back of the field.
Tom Michaels, are the lights out on the pace car?
As the pace car comes by, it does appear that the lights, they are out.
Let's go racing once again then. Again, at the start, Kyle Kirkwood, I can't believe it. He comes up here waiting for James Raven to punch off. In fact, even Keith Thonigan was ready to go. They were into the window. As they come into turn number 13 here, we have a window. We have a couple signs up. That's essentially the area where you can accelerate from. And James was waiting. Now, maybe a penalty coming up. I don't know, because he didn't punch off. They were kind of pushing him. Kirkwood went first. I'm not sure if we'll see any issues. But again, we'll do it now. Restart. Kirkwood up front. Raven, Donegan, Lint, and Vanderwatt. And we're back underway with the USF 2000. We'll keep an eye on the guys coming from the tail of the field, like Darren Keene and Dakota Dickerson in that number 9 machine. Keene actually well back here. He's just coming through the carousel now. Wasn't able to get caught right back up to the tail of the field. But underway, Rusty, through turn number 2.
Up through the top of the keyhole turn now, single file this time around, and we'll see if anybody can set themselves up for a pass down the straightaway. Kirkwood still at the point right now and has already pulled about 4 car length gap over that number 7, but the battle for third, side by side right now. Donegan and Lind Side by side, Brian.
Yeah, Donegan and Lynn still side by side. The battle for fifth is also side by side. We'll see how that settles out. The 28, then the 23 as they go by me here. So Donegan and then Lynn as they make their way towards you. Tom Michael, good battles for fourth and good battles for fifth.
Well, we've heard this song before. Kirkwood is in the lead. The 7th car, then Raven. Then you got Donegan and Lynn. So no real changes. They come through turn 8, 9, 10. Leaders up into the carousel.
I'll tell you, Tom, I've been doing it all year long. I know it's getting old for you guys on a weekend here, but I've been talking about Kyle Kirkwood up front all year long. He's trying to win yet another race here. He's got 4 in a row right now, I believe. Indeed, 4 in a row, looking for 9 races in a row. He leads them now by 1 second as they come across the start-finish line. Raven in second, Donegan third, Lint in fourth, Sierra fifth. Julian Vanderwatt now runs in the 6th spot. Igor Fraga up into 7th. Lucas Cole in 8th, Michael D'Orlando 9th, and Daniel Frost rounding out your top 10. New fast lap laid down by Darren Keene, but he is 9 seconds behind his teammate Oscar De La Zuriaga. It's just tough for Darren Keene. He needed to be able to get back up, but with all that time, he was essentially a full lap behind, John. Not able to get that 1 extra lap he needed to catch the tail of the field before the green.
Kirkwood and Raven well out front, but the battles for 3rd spot at the exit of turn number 4. Lynn trying to make a move. Lynn in the 23 car all over the back of Donegan. Donegan is under a lot of pressure. Now that Sierra in the car number 12 car joins into a great 3-way battle for 3rd.
Absolutely. That 12 car with Sierra right on the rear wing of Lynn. Probably half a car length as it came through here. Stretches out a little bit up into 10.
Getting that first lap back after the restart in the books. That'll be good to get these guys in single file and start setting up the battles. Dakota Dickerson's got, I think, about 4 spots already on this opening lap as he tries to claw his way back forward. But otherwise, everyone looking good. The battle is Kalen Frederick in the 24. Remember, he started near the tail of the field. Kalen Frederick now going by. Trying to go by Michael D'Orlando for the 10th spot. Keep an eye on Kalen Frederick, guys, in the number 24. If he gets by D'Orlando, he'll go to work on his teammate Lucas Cole, Rusty.
Yeah, another car goes wide there through turn 1 over the top of the curbing there. They're going 3 wide for a second at the entry to the keel, but they straighten themselves out. But yeah, we watched that pass of Kalen Frederick made right at the exit of turn 1. Really nice move there, and he's going to attempt to move himself forward. Peeking out once again down the straightaway.
Yeah, not able to get that done, but looks to the inside. Top 2 already through turn number 5. The 80 car is making a really nice move down into turn number 6. Not able to get it done. Leaders are into your view, Tom.
Yeah, not much as far as gaining time. This time by for the first place car on the second. That battle back there with the number 80 car, Vanderwatt, I should say, and Sierra. That has been growing big time as they head up through 12.
Kalen Frederick started this weekend second in the points, and he has had 2 miserable races. He scored a grand total of 3 points over 2 races, and he is looking for some redemption. Started 22nd all the way up into the top 10. Kalen Frederick's a man on the move.
Well, you had said he followed all the way down the order. I know you've got the sheet here all the way down into the 6th position. You come in here knowing that Kyle Kirkwood's got a chance to win the championship. He's going to secure it. You're trying to battle for second. You want that runner-up position. That's where you want to be on awards night in Labor Day weekend when we get to Portland for the banquet. You want that second-place prize money. You want the honors of being the vice champion. For him, the issues, like you said, 1 point in race 1, 2 points in race number 2. Nothing like that for the entire season for that young driver. He's just such an impressive kid. Watch for him to keep working his way forward now, right into the 9th position. We'll look at lap times. He tries to get up to Lucas Cole. About a half a second quicker last time by on Lucas Cole, guys. Kalen Frederick definitely moving. John?
Sierra is just still in that great battle with Vanderwatt. They were side by side at the end of the back straightaway. Sierra able to hold on to that position. Tom, they're in front of you.
Yeah, and things closing up there for the battle between Donegan and Lynn for 3rd place. A couple of car lengths separate those 2. They chase after the front 2, Kirkwood and Raven.
Interesting, I had said that Kalen Frederick actually hadn't had any issues like that. He did. He had a rough weekend at the Grand Prix of Indianapolis and got a couple of single-point races. that can happen when you're racing up front, racing hardcore, and you get that quick incident. And we've seen that a bit here. This is the first rung of the road to Indy. There are incidents. We don't like to see a lot of them, but it happens. And Caleb Frederick's going to look to the inside, coming into turn number 1 to the inside of Igor Fraga. I think he's got it, Rusty.
He's made that one stick. We also heard a report they're going to black flag the 12 car, Sierra, for a jump start here. He's going to get a drive-through penalty, and he is up there battling right now in the 5th spot. So that sounds like some pretty tough luck there for that number 12 car, who had some issues in qualifying earlier this week.
Wow.
We're watching him now down the straightaway, though, the 23 car trying to tuck into the wrap, and here comes the 80, though, on the charge. Vanderwatt now trying the outside, Brian.
Vanderwatt tries the outside, can't get it done, so he falls back in line. Of course, he doesn't know that Sierra is going to be reporting to the pits here with that drive-through penalty. The 24 car now coming on a lot of pressure from Frederick right there. They're side by side coming at you, Tom Michaels. Not able to get it done, but Frederick making a move at 6.
Absolutely. Looking to move up there. Caleb Frederick trying to come up. Igor Fraga trying to make the move on Vanderwatt. This is a great dandy battle.
Yeah, that's Kalen Frederick, Tom. He is all over the rear wing now of Julian Vanderwatt. Of course, we're looking at, there's Sierra. He's pulled off to serve his drive-through. So this battle now actually for 5th position. Kalen Frederick, who started deep in the field, has worked his way back. Started 22nd, now ready to put the pressure on as Sierra makes that long, slow, painful crawl down pit lane to serve his penalty. But man, this battle right now for 5th is excellent. Kalen Frederick, the driver, up on the wheel right now. Rusty, he's going to get a good run through turn number 2 now, but a length back as they come out into the straightaway. Look for Frederick to make a move here.
Yeah, car length back as they exit the keyhole turn. Vanderwatt right in front of him. A huge gap in front of Vanderwatt. So the front part of this field getting away from this battle behind. Down the straightaway right now. Frederick driving to the inside, Brian.
Looking to the inside. He has got a wheel beside him. Can't get it done. Vanderwatt holds him off, but Frederick had a wheel up beside him. Not able to get it done. The battle for 3rd is another really good one. It's right in front of you now, Tom Michaels.
Yep, nothing in it between those 2 cars. About a car length and a half. Then we go back to that battle we've been talking about. The 80 car now. Vanderwatt holding off Caleb Frederick. That old group right there had moved up.
Yeah.
Because of the problems that we had seen for Sierra having to make the pit stop.
Pretty good run here for Keith Donegan. He's P3, but he's been challenged, as you guys have said, pretty aggressively by the number 23. That's Rasmus Lint, the 16-year-old driver from Sweden. Julian Vanderwatt, reigning South African F1600 champion, has been holding him back now. Kalen Frederick looked like he was really on the move, but again, getting into that wing, you start getting the aero wash, and the car starts to get a little understeer through the corners, but I still like that battle. Good fight for that 3rd position. Keith Donegan and Rasmus Lint, they're setting up for a battle, then further back, Julian Vanderwatt having to hold off a charging Kalen Frederick.
In fact, a little bit of brake lock up there for Vanderwatt as he got into the top of the keyhole turn. Knows he's looked in his mirrors. He's seen the car coming to Frederick, so he's trying to drive as hard as he can. Gets a good drive off the keyhole turn and has a comfortable 1 car length lead.
Lynn trying to make a move right at the end of the back straightaway for that third spot on Donegan. Donegan really defensive through turn number 6. That's the best battle we got. Tom, they're coming in front of you right now.
Yes, it is. Less than a car length separating Donegan and Lynn. They head up through Thunder Valley. They take a little bit of a wide line as they come through that sweeping right-hander in turn 10. No change as they head into the carousel.
Rasmus Lynn coming off a 4th place finish in yesterday's race, going to try to get up onto the box for this one as they move through the carousel turn onto the front straightaway. But a great bit of drive in there. And again, I'm really impressed with Vanderwatt in the Team Pelfrey car, holding off, obviously, a faster Kalen Frederick. Frederick just can't find the way around.
Yeah, Kalen, a 2nd-year driver in this series, was 15 years old last year, really learned in that 1st year, and that's what this program's all about. Really 2 years at every step is the way to go. You come in, you learn the car, the team, the the series, all the systems in the program, and then you come back the next year and win. But what you also see is the rookie drivers in the second half, when that comfort level's there, they're getting way more confident with their abilities. They're connected with the team. That's where you get a guy like Rasmussen Lind, who's making a move potentially right now on Donigan.
Yeah, side by side, Brian.
Yeah, it's a great side-by-side battle. Still side-by-side. Lynn not able to get that done. He is trying so hard to get around to her. We got contact right there coming out of turn number 4. The 80 car going to be able to rejoin, but drops back at least 6 spots.
That's Vanderwatt, guys. I believe that was the contact potential between Kalen Frederick and Julian Vanderwatt. I'd love to be able to see a replay of that, because all we kind of saw was the end with Vanderwatt's yellow Team Pelfrey car going off the end of turn number 4. But we knew that Kalen Frederick, guys, was getting really aggressive, and that was that battle for the 5th and 6th position. I believe Frederick has that position. Indeed, he does. But, wow, that stacked things up behind him. They're all rolling up here, John, right behind Kalen Frederick, who's now your new 5th-place driver. It's the 91 of Fraga, the 22 of Cole, and then here comes the 21 of Calvin Ming. He's going to look to the inside of D. Orlando coming through turn number 1, side by side, Rusty.
He's trying it right now as he gets alongside. Orlando still has that spot right now, but we're watching it. Kalen Frederick, we'll have to see how the stewards like that. He has been pretty aggressive this weekend. That's at least his 3rd contact issue that he's had the weekend. So I'm sure the stewards will take a look at that. The 23 car back a little too far. Lynn challenged last lap, but drops back behind to cool the tires for a lap.
Yeah, Lynn's about a car length back. We haven't talked about Kirkwood, but Kirkwood continues to stretch it out. And a great battle back here for the 8th spot. Tom, they're in front of you.
Yeah, Kirkwood has the distance between turns 8 and 9 over the second place, James Raven. But then the battle for 3rd place, Donigan continuing to hold off Lynn. As a matter of fact, stretching it out to almost 2 car lengths.
I'll tell you guys, Kyle Kirkwood's leading by so much right now. He's already leading the first race at Portland, I think.
I think you're probably right.
His kid has been unbelievable here this year.
Let's take nothing away from James Raven, though, as the Britisher has done a great job here this weekend. Started on the pole in this race by setting the fastest lap in race 2, and this is his first race weekend. So he's a rookie in this series and doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, let's look in the order and try to come see some of the guys that deserve some props. Kirkwood's, of course, out front doing a great job. James Raven starting on the pole. Look at his lap times. Almost exactly the same as Kyle Kirkwood. For a kid making his debut here in USF 2000, having run Pro Mazda as in a one-off for D-Force Racing in St. Petersburg, what a tremendous drive for him. I like what you and Sundar Murthy's doing as well. His debut weekend here, currently sits 3rd in the F1600 Championship Series, coming off a win here a couple of weeks ago at Mid-Ohio. Really strong run for Yuvan. He stayed out of trouble. He's been right there mid-pack, looking to potentially work his way into the top 10. Further back, how about Darren Keene? There's just no quit in this young kid. He's been able to catch up to a couple of cars, currently sitting in the 19th spot. He's trying to get back forward. He's only a half a second or a second behind Bruno Tomaselli, but he's trying to get himself back forward. He could have just parked it and said, you know what, on to Portland. It's been a horrible weekend, but Darren Keene continues to really focus and trying to work his way back up into the top 15.
We've been following the progress of Dakota Dickerson. It seems like he spent the whole weekend coming from the back, and he was right on the back of Jacob Abel, and clearly had a problem of some kind because he's fallen way back down to 20th position.
Another driver I want to mention, too, because it's a local guy out of Columbus. It's David Osborne. He took a couple of races off, wanted to come back here at Mid-Ohio, currently running in the 15th position, turning really good lap times, quicker than some of the guys up front. David in that Newman Walks Racing number 37. Now P15 as there comes Kalen Frederick. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a drive-through penalty. And Brian, I think it's Brian or Rusty said it straight up. 3 times he's had contact here this weekend. Now, the first not of his doing, that was Rasmussen Lind getting together with him in turn 4. Then he got contacted, not of his doing, by Russell McDonough trying to go by Russell. This one, of course, that move to the inside of a Team Pelfrey driver, Julian Vanderwatt, was definitely his fault. The steward said it. Drive-through penalty. He'll fall to the tail of the field. Everybody else moving up a spot.
And Sabra Cook is not in his fan club either because they came together as well.
Enough.
Go ahead, Rusty. Sorry.
No, I'm just going to say that Sabre Cook that had that incident, I can still see the black marks on the wall from where the two of them came together yesterday. Fortunately, they were able to repair both those cars and get them back out.
Yeah, guys, I talked to Sabre last night, and she said that, she's out here running, trying to get as much experience as she can. They came out of that corner. When you come out of turn 2, you don't run the kink. You kind of kind of crisscross. She said I had my hands straight. I wasn't moving at all. I looked in my mirrors, and he was in the grass,
right,
trying to pass her. He goes, I couldn't go anywhere because she had David Osborne on the outside of her. There's no way she could move anywhere. And Kaylin just getting over aggressive, not showing the patience that you have to at this level of racing. 4 wheels in the grass, the contact ensued, and of course, as you guys saw, they were both off the racetrack, and heated words, I believe, were exchanged before the end of that incident.
Rasmus Lint, second in the points, trying to maintain that position all over the back of Keith Dunigan.
Up in the keyhole, it's about 2 car lengths. They've been fairly stationary here lately. He tried that a couple laps ago, but we talked about that aero wash. You basically need to just take your shot and go for it. He did that, didn't make it stick, and when that happens, you end up dropping back 3 or 4 car lengths, and it takes a couple of laps before you're ready to challenge once again. And he is in that mode where he is trying to get close enough to make another charge at the top end.
Yeah, Rusty, last lap, they were side by side through 4 up into turn number 5. I thought Lynn was going to get it done, but he didn't. Get the door slammed on him going into 5.
And that, of course, as we have talked about, now 3 car lengths, maybe stretches to 4 car lengths. Donigan over Lind. We're getting late in this one.
Yeah, got about 6 laps to go. It'll be 5 laps when they come by this time. You know, Lucas Cole was second in the first 2 rounds here. He's just not been able to make any impact on Igor Fraga. He's about a half a second back. Fraga is, 4 seconds back of the battle for third between Dunigan and Lind. But Cole just not having the day that he's had the previous 2 races.
Yeah, what this exemplifies is the fact that track position and qualifying is so important here at Mid-Ohio. It's tough to pass here. There are a couple of opportunities if you got a pretty good race car. Otherwise, it's tough to pass. Where you qualify inevitably will be that kind of window where you're going to be. Lucas Cole, 8th quickest time in the second race. That put him on the outside of row number 4. He started 8th. He's running 6th. Really a successful day to a certain extent, holding his position. Gained a spot or 2 spots when both Vanderwatt and then the penalty for Kalen Fredericks. So he's really held his position, and that's all you can ask for sometimes. You don't qualify quite as well.
Rusty, you're listening to Race Control as I am. It sounds like Keith Dunigan, the third-place runner who is holding off Rasmus Lind, is going to get a furrowed black to say, watch it, you're doing a little too much blocking here.
What?
Go ahead, Rusty.
No, I was just going to say, actually, Don's got the radio today. He is listening in, and exactly what you said, John, that we were just waiting to get in on that. We'll see how that furrowed black affects the driver. Sometimes it makes you drive a little harder.
Most of these guys just ignore it, I think. I always say, they call it a warning flag. I say it's a you just got away with something flag to a certain extent. Now, Donigan's got enough of a gap over Rasmus Lind that he's not going to have to do too much blocking. But, John, you mentioned the championship battle. Kyle Kirkwood, if he wins this, will have 373 points. No one else can get even close to that amount of points. But the battle now for second is unbelievably tight. Just 3 points between Rasmus Lind and Igor Fraga. You go another 8 points or 10 points back from Lind to Lucas Cole. This is a great fight for the final couple positions in second, third, and fourth in the championship. These kids are all going to be battling it out for it. Igor Fraga runs 5th. Rasmus Lind in 4th. 3 points separate those 2 drivers, 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, watching this great battle behind, sort of led by that 91 of Fraga. There's 4 cars that are a car length apart and have been for the last 3 or 4 laps. I'm just waiting for one of them to peek out here. They may be waiting here a couple more laps, and they'll try it on the white flag.
Yeah, Cole and Ming both have been fast all weekend long. They seem to be bottled up there just a little bit. But I'll tell you, with the points race the way it is, I would imagine it's going to get dicey here in the last couple laps.
Like the way things are settling in here for this last run, though. 16 laps down, 4 laps remaining. Still watching guys like Darren Keene work their way back to the front here. Keene now trying to find a way by both Bruno Tomaselli and Julian Vanderwatt, but Kirkwood back across the line. 2.2 seconds the gap. Last time by, this time 3.1. He just keeps pulling away. James Raven holding on to second, capitalizing on that fast lap in qualifying. As I just said, where you qualify, very similar to where you're going to finish, and he qualified first, running in second. Donigan not done, though, in terms of having to defend from Rasmus Lind, because, John, Lind a lot closer. Rusty, you can talk more about it. That battle heating up for the 3rd spot.
Yeah, half a car length this time at the entry to the keyhole. They need to get set up here for the run down the straightaway and catch into that slipstream, into the draft. Looks like he's done that right now as he comes by us, less than a car length. But driving down hard on the inside is Donegan. Now to the outside. We'll see if he can get there.
He's got the position. He pitches him down to the turn. He does. He gets the move done. All around the high side, the hard way to go. The 23 of Lynn gets that spot. Donegan fights back in turn number 6. They almost touch, nose to tail. Tom Michael, greatest battle on the track, coming at you.
It is a great battle, taking a wide line, coming into turn number 9. That's the new third-place car. Rasmus Lynn right behind him. Donegan, they head up through turn number 10. Nose to tail, no change as they head into the carousel.
2 to go, and they cross the stripe this time by. Watch Calvin Ming. He has made a couple really good outside passes down at turn number 4. He's hungry and going to try to put Lucas Cole behind him.
A couple of good runs for these two freshman drivers, Rasmus Lint and Keith Donegan. Lint, a strong run around the outside at turn number 4. Calvin Ming, as you said, a couple of great passes, currently runs in the 7th spot. He is now about 0.3 of a second behind Lucas Cole. He'll have to find some more speed because those drivers all almost exactly the same. Igor Fraga, Lucas Cole, Calvin Ming, all of them turning 121.9. It's about a half a second off of the pace laid down by Kyle Kirkwood right now. But again, to try to make a move here, and if you're that close on time, it's almost impossible. You have to have a significant gap, or a significant advantage, maybe a half a second a lap if you're going to make a pass like that. Oh,
there's a wing in the.
We got a wing.
Yeah, we had a coming together. It looked like it was Sierra and Russell McDonough. They actually came together coming over the hill, going down into Thunder Valley, and one of the cars lost the rear wing. It is sitting right in the middle of the track, down at the bottom of the hill.
Interesting thing, Tom, is it's not really in the racing line, and what our race directors will normally do, they'll tell the drivers about it, they'll see it. It's not anywhere where a car will go here coming out of turn number 9. They're all up, of course, onto the rumbles on driver's left, so as they go through, they'll see that. I expect that we will stay green. In fact, white flag flying this time by, John. Last lap, guys. Kyle Kirkwood, your leader. Raven runs in second. Do we have any other battles? Rasmuth has been able to pull away from Keith Donegan in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Fraga, Cole, Ming, and add Michael D'Orlando in there as well on the Bennick number 51.
Yeah, all 4 of those cars are together around turn 1. They're all about 2 car lengths apart, not close enough to make anything happen on the way into the keyhole. But we'll take a look here as Kirkwood already down the straightaway through the kink all by himself. Now James Raven again all by himself. No challenge for 3rd. We're looking at this battle behind, though. The battle for 5th right now. They have tightened it up again. We'll see, Brian. There's still maybe a car length and a half, 2 car lengths. They may try it, but they're pretty far separated.
Yeah, everybody seems to be gapped pretty good right here in the last chance through. Kyle Kirkwood, what a great weekend for him. Tom Michaels in front of you.
Continuing to stretch that lead past that debris at the bottom of the hill in Thunder Valley. Heading up into turn number 11, just about 3 more turns to go.
Dream season for the young driver out of Florida, F4 champion last year. He's already added the Cooper Tires USF 2000 title to his resume. Out of the final corner here at Mid-Ohio, Kyle Kirkwood sweeping the weekend, 3 for 3 on this challenging road course. Great run for James Raven. He comes home second. Kirkwood turning the fast lap of the race on the last lap of the race. Tremendous run for that young driver, a 121.297. Rasmuth Lint, that great pass on Keith Donegan in turn number 5 will send him to the podium as well. Great one for the 16-year-old. Donegan holds on for 4th. Igor Fraga, 5th. 6th is Lucas Cole. 7th, Calvin Ming. 8th, Michael D'Orlando. 9th, David Frost. And 10th, Yuvan Sundaramurthy. All 3 drivers from Exclusive Autosport, the rookies in the top 10. Look at the points. Nice one for Rasmuth Lint. He stretches from 3 points to now 6 points, holding on to 2nd spot as we head to Portland International Raceway. Guys, Kyle Kirkwood laid another one down, able to get the jump early. James Raven did not get off the line well and kind of fell back a bit, but still a good run for James for 2nd place, for him to get to the podium in his USF 2000 debut week, and that's a major, major result for James.
And I'd like to give a shout out to Jacob Abel, too. Great run for him up into 11th spot in only his 5th start of the season. So Jacob Abel doing a great run up into 11th. Calvin Kaminsky in 12th. Kyle Dupel in the 13th spot. Julian Vanderwatt, who had that great battle all race long at the head of that group, got spun off at the end of the long straightaway, was able to recover for a 14th place finish. And the Cincinnati native David Osborne comes home in 15th
Love
spot.
that. David Osborne coming through. Great driver, the number 37 for Newman Walks Racing. He's able to get a solid result here this weekend. Top 15, good run, turned some pretty good lap times as well.
Indeed. Rob's going to make his way down to Victory Circle as we'll say goodbye to him for the last time today. Thanks, Rob. It's always great to have you in my booth. You're welcome anytime, my friend, as he heads down to interview the top winning drivers. We've got one more race to go before we go into pre-race festivities for this afternoon's Honda Indy 200, and that's for Indy Lights, their final race of the weekend. It was a good one yesterday. Looking for more of the same today. So we'll send it down to Rob once he gets ready for his Victory Circle ceremonies. And just one more reminder for those of you season pass holders who are going to take part in the grid walk. Meet at the pit lane access point at 2:45 today as we get into pre-race festivities. And rookie racers, you'll have a chance to high-five your favorite IndyCar drivers as they come across the stage. Come over to the Cooper Tires Bridge in the infield and to the stage area and plan to be there at 2:30 as our staff will direct you into that opportunity for the rookie racers. And don't forget, get yourself a T-shirt for the Graham Rahal Foundation. It's for a worthy cause, helping children with childhood diseases. And you'll have a chance to be entered for a drawing to win Graham's race-worn and autographed gloves from this afternoon's race.
And he is back on the podium once again to present him with his third place trophy. Guests of Cooper Tires, Trinidad Izquierdo. Trinidad, thank you so much, bringing that P3 trophy into this impressive young driver. Rasmus Lentz, again, coming home in third spot, currently second place in the points as well. We know that Kyle Kirkwood's got the championship locked up.
race of the 500 St. Collins.
And here's the checkered flag for Johnny Rutherford, winner of the 1974 Indianapolis 500-mile race.
From the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio, it's time for the Indy Lights, presented by Cooper Tires on the Advance Auto Parts IndyCar Radio Network.
Live from Mid-Ohio, time to go racing for the Indy Lights Series, presented by Cooper Tires here on the Advance Auto Parts IndyCar Radio Network. My name is Nick Yeoman. Thanks so much for tuning in. Joining us today as we are set for round number 14 of this championship. Pato O'Ward is on the pole today with Aaron Telitz to his outside as we're set to go racing for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, whatever comes first. We've got the voice of IndyCar Radio, Mark Janes, in the booth with me, as well as Trackside Online, Steve Whittick. And Mark, I'll start with you. Yesterday's race, pretty intriguing. Saw a couple of Andretti teammates battle for the win. Always good to see these race fans pack the hillsides here at Mid-Ohio.
Well, we have wondered in the Verizon IndyCar Series when someone would take a stranglehold on the championship with the pair that we had through the first quarter of the season. Scott Dixon has done that in the Verizon IndyCar Series, and Pato O'Ward is really on a hot streak now, trying to, again, all but wrap up this championship. I mean, you know, a win at Iowa, a win in the first race at Toronto, a second place there on pole, got a win yesterday. Colton Herta, the brave soldier with that injury, and doing all he can to stay close. Still very much within striking distance, and I know Colton Herta is hopeful after a good night's rest that he'll have something for his teammate today.
Steve, Pato O'Ward came into this weekend with an 18-point lead. It ballooned up to 25 after yesterday's race. He's on the pole position. He's got Colton Herta a couple spots behind him. Boy, things are looking good for that young driver over the past month or so.
Yeah, they really are. He's really started to come into his own on and off the track, but it's been fun to watch him mature as a driver and as a person. But it's so tight in this series. You know, the top three were covered by 3/100ths of a second. So that's so close. And, you know, he's got a lot to lose here, and he's got someone starting beside him who desperately wants a win.
Let's welcome in Dave First, who's on pit lane. Dave, for what is a pretty nice day here in Lexington, Ohio for racing.
I'm pretty sure we'll take this in late July in Lexington, Ohio. Air temperature at 75 degrees. Track temperature certainly gone up since this morning at 102. 8-mile-an-hour wind. It can gust up to 10, maybe 15 or so. It's coming from the west. Humidity level at 60%. Complete overcast skies here at Mid-Ohio, but it feels pretty good down here. I'll tell you that, Nick.
Field making their way on the front straightaway for the final time as they'll get set to go racing here in about a lap. Got a couple turn announcers out on the course. Jake Query is positioned with all those hundreds and thousands of race fans that have made their way out to Mid-Ohio, the portion of the racetrack we call the Keyhole.
The Keyhole is the southwest corner of the racetrack, and Nick, right now there is not really any real estate here. It is packed with lawn chairs, tents, and race fans. I've been offered already a couple of Yinglings, a bottled water, and a turkey sandwich. It's one of the great traditions to be with these fans here as they work their way around this long, sweeping turn number 2. Patricia O'Ward, Aaron Telitz, Colton Herta, Victor Franzoni, the front four behind the pace car. They work their way through this area, which right now is under cloud cover with very little wind. But Michael Young, then they take a right-handed kink that is turn number 3. That's where they come into your view for 4, 5, and 6.
They will be flat out, Jake Query, as they make their way to turn number 4. Drivers left lined with woods, dotted with a couple of grandstands. To drivers right, a hillside packed with Mid-Ohio race fans looking forward to the start of this Indy Lights race. As a matter of fact, about a half a dozen fans from Uruguay rooting on their driver, Santi Urrutia. A right-hander is turn number 4. They'll go slightly downhill, uphill to turn number 5 for a very tight left-hander, then back down the hill slightly to that right-hander turn 6 that will lead them to the S's. Nick Yeoman, a beautiful day. Let's go Indy Lights Racing here at Mid-Ohio.
Final member of our broadcast crew. He's called the USF 2000 and Pro Mazda races already today. Good afternoon, Rob Howden.
Hey, Nick, even those races showing that if you've got momentum and you have confidence, you can get some race wins. Kyle Kirkwood has already secured the championship. And, of course, Rinus VK now 5 straight wins or 4 straight wins. He's got that confidence as well. You know who else has that? Patricio O'Ward. Talking to him in the before the race here, he's just so loose, so relaxed. He's confident in the race car, confident in the team. He's got that gap that he needs, Nick, going to the start of this race here. He's thinking about trying to win this championship by winning the race here at Mid-Ohio.
O'Ward and Tielitz on row 1. Herta, Franzoni, row 2. Urrutia, Kellett in row 3. Ryan Norman out back by himself in 7. Out of the final corner, they'll accelerate and see the green flag. It's the points leader, Pato O'Ward, who will lead the field into turn number 1. He's got Tielitz to his outside. Tielitz will quickly have to fall into second. Herta runs third as they streak out of turn number 1.
Pato O'Ward yesterday did not put a tire in the wrong place all day. He leads a single file 1, 2, 3 into the keyhole, but Aaron Tielitz is right there. Colton Herta's got all kinds of activity from Santi Urrutia. That's the battle for the 3rd position. Keep an eye on it, Michael, as they come to you, the leaders, into turn number 4.
Pato O'Ward already checking out to about a 10-car length advantage over Aaron Tielitz. That's the battle for 3rd shaping up. Colton Herta on the inside, Santi Urrutia on the outside. Kellett and Franzoni side by side into the exit of turn number 4. Everybody shuffling into single file with the exception of Franzoni and Kellett. They're still battling down the exit of turn number 5 and into turn number 6. Kellett on the inside, Franzoni on the outside now, and Franzoni will get the spot. Get Franzoni 5th.
Boy, a ton of wheel banging, Mark James, for that 5th place battle as Franzoni and Kellett not giving each other an inch to the essence.
Yeah, no one more frustrated through that scenario than Ryan Norman. I mean, he started shotgun on the field, and he went high, went low into the keyhole. He tried it again through 4, 5, and 6, and just couldn't find any room. And now off the carousel, Kellett looks like he wants that spot back from Franzoni.
What an opening lap, though, for Pato O'Ward, Jake, as he already has a 2-second lead on Aaron Tielitz.
Pato O'Ward again. Yesterday was absolutely perfect. Did not make a mistake. Now he enters into the keyhole. Now they're going to go side by side for second. Colton Herta's going to go to the outside of Aaron Tielitz. Santi Urrutia going to try to do the same, but Herta's able to make that move. Now Urrutia to the outside. He's going to battle his teammate Aaron Tielitz. This is the battle for 3rd. They're right behind Colton Herta, who runs 2nd.
That allows Pato O'Ward to check out. Colton Herta 6-car length advantage over Santi Urrutia, who gained that 3rd position over his teammate Aaron Tielitz. Then it's Franzoni further back in the field at the tail end. Dalton Kellett and Ryan Norman battling. Pato O'Ward already through turn number 6. The rest of the field closely behind.
Boy, Steve, I know the confidence for Aaron Tielitz had to be through the roof with that front row start, but this has not been a good start to the race for that man.
Yeah, no, I had a chance to catch up with him this morning, and he, like Santi, he was pretty loose and ready to go, and his team owner, Brian Velarde, told me that he thought he was going to win this race, and it just, once again, it's just been, the season has just not gone his way.
And, Mark, that was a power move by Colton Herta.
Yeah, and when the car can stick to the high side through the keyhole, you might tuck that into your memory bank a little bit, although O'Ward certainly has a lot of pace. We'll see if Colton has anything for him. That was a very strong move for sure. We don't see passes stick like that very often. Oftentimes that car to the bottom comes off the turn and is able to get off there a little quicker. So a great move by Colton Herta.
Tielitz, Jake, is going backwards. He's falling into the grasp of Victor Franzoni.
Now, Franzoni has to worry about Dalton Kellett as well. He's right behind him. Tielitz has a 3-car length advantage over Franzoni, and then you get to that machine of Dalton Kellett. Leaders already in front of Michael.
Battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th starting to shape up as we had described. Aaron Tielitz starting to fall back in the field. The nice battle shaping up for that 5th position as Franzoni and Dalton Kellett go at it. They're through turn number 5 now, making that left-hander in turn number 6. Franzoni has Dalton Kellett for that 5th position by about 3 car lengths.
This back power portion of the racetrack usually have to stay single file. Good opportunity to go back to pit lane, checking with Rob Howden.
Yeah, one quick thing here, Nick, to get things underway. It's a 2.8-second lead already for Pato O'Ward. And if you remember our interview from race number 1, he said the one thing he was trying to do was to try to get that 1 second gap yesterday on Ryan Norman to make sure that he couldn't use the push to pass. Now with the 2.8 second lead, Colton Herta will have to do it on merit. He's not going to have that access to push to pass to close up on the leader. He'll have to do it on speed. Pato O'Ward's already checked the one box that he wanted today. That was get out into the lead and get that gap of over 1 second as quickly as possible.
Jake Query, a lot of dust kicked up out of turn number 1.
And that was from Dalton Kellett. Kellett is in the back of the field. His teammate Ryan Norman's in front of him, and Norman and Victor Franzoni were able to separate themselves and push Kellett a little bit further back because Nick, it got really interesting entering there. He kicked up that dust from that dirt on the outside of the track.
And the tough thing, Michael Young, is now Dalton Kellett has kind of lost that battle for 5th and 6th that he was pretty heavily involved with.
Yeah, and Aaron Telitz has actually separated himself from Victor Franzoni about 7 car lengths now, and Franzoni able to gap Ryan Norman. Obviously, Kellett was there just 1 lap ago, so now we'll see if Ryan Norman has anything for the machine of Dalton Kellett, or should say Victor Franzoni.
So it is Pato O'Ward with a 3.1 second advantage over Colton Herta, who runs 2nd on the racetrack, also comes in 2nd in points. Santi Urrutia runs in the 3rd position, 3.9 seconds back. He's within striking distance of Herta right now. Telitz runs in the 4th spot. Victor Franzoni holding on for dear life to keep that 5th spot, with Ryan Norman starting to run him down, and then Dalton Kellett runs in the 7th position. We mentioned that battle between Franzoni and Norman. It storms out of turn number 1 and heads toward the keyhole.
And right now, boy, it looks like one car coming to me. And again, this is the battle for the 5th position. Franzoni holding it. Norman would like it. Norman not able to make that move. Franzoni got a little bit loose exiting turn number 2. Norman is right there in his tire tracks. Again, they run 5th and 6th right now, Michael, but might be the best battle on the racetrack.
Comfort level for Pato O'Ward, huge as he checks out from the rest of the field. The battle starting to shape up. Further up in the field, Colton Herta and now Santi Urrutia. That is down to about a 3-car length advantage for the machine of Colton Herta. Then we drop back further in the field. That's Aaron Telitz, Victor Franzoni. Ryan Norman still about 2 car lengths behind Franzoni.
Yep, Norman all over the rear wing of that Soul Red Mazda car. And Steve, boy, yesterday, great qualifying effort for Ryan Norman starting on the front row. He's from Ohio. Big weekend, big opportunity. And just about everything went wrong for that young man yesterday.
Yeah, he did. He was not happy after the race with himself. He's had to work. He knows he's had to work on his starts and restarts all season, and that once again caught him out. It's something, he's only in his 3rd season of car racing, so it's something that he hasn't done a lot of, and it's something that he's going to have to continue to work on if he wants to end up finishing on the podium more.
Up front, it's Pato O'Ward by 2.6 seconds. Jake Query, how's that battle for 2nd shaking out between Herta and Urrutia?
Right now, Herta, when he exited turn number 2, again, got just a little bit loose, getting on that throttle quickly, and then he's got himself, we'll call it, Michael, from 2nd to 3rd, about an 8-car length right now, advantage for Herta.
And that's about where it stays right now, Jake Query. Colton Herta on the brakes, right behind him, Santi Urrutia, the fans cheering him on. Further back, that battle for 5th is starting to shape up. Ryan Norman looks to the inside, now to the outside of Victor Franzoni. He's all over the rear gearbox of Victor Franzoni. They wiggle ever so slightly. Franzoni able to gap at a car length, but Ryan Norman's coming.
Mark James, you spent many years out there in the Estes watching the IndyCar race as they snake their way up the hill and back down the hill. Lots of wide racetrack to use, but it's awful tough to pull off a pass.
Yeah, a little easier in Indy Lights cars for sure. They can go through that area too wide. Not a good idea in the Verizon IndyCar series. We've seen that over the years. Norman, I think, is probably getting a little frustrated with Franzoni because on the approach, Nick, every time that Norman would make a move, Franzoni would react to it. I don't know that it's a full-scale block as of yet, but he is certainly making it awfully difficult for Ryan Norman to get around him, and Norman's trying to keep pace now as they head toward Jake.
Again, Jake, this is the battle for 5th, Franzoni and Ryan Norman.
Ryan Norman not able to close in on Franzoni. Dalton Kellett has been able to reel them back in just a little bit after he got a little bit squirrely. He now keeps them back in sight. They run 5th, 6th, and 7th as they work their way through turn number 3.
And it's Victor Franzoni. He hangs to the outside. Those Cooper tires on the white line. Ryan Norman about 2 car lengths behind. Again, that is the battle for 5th. Aaron Telitz able to check out now from Victor Franzoni. Telitz just entering the apex portion of turn number 6. He's got about a 6-car length advantage, and after that, they're about even through the back of the field.
Yeah, if they can really hammer their way through Thunder Valley, one of the faster portions of this racetrack, as they go back downhill. Then it's back uphill towards the carousel, part of the racetrack where drivers have described those cars getting awful light. Mark, we've seen even some of the Verizon IndyCar Series drivers have problems with the carousel, and that's usually been a part of the racetrack that has been fairly easy to navigate over the years.
Yeah, well, I think each and every weekend. And what's interesting to me, we talked about the blank sheet of paper that everybody comes into a race weekend with. What's interesting to me, Nick, is for the first time I can ever remember, teams that have actually tested at a facility, very few of them say that it was really beneficial. In fact, the overwhelming majority of them say, well, for whatever the reason, the conditions are different, the track's changed, the weather's changed, or whatever. And it's been a struggle for teams in the Verizon IndyCar Series that we have seen, be really, really good teams week in and week out, drivers especially. And this is no exception. But it's funny. When you get a guy that's as hot as Scott Dixon's been of late, and then in the Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires, a guy like Pato O'Ward, as hot as he's been, he's not complained about grip. He's not complained about tire wear. He's not complained about handling issues. He feels pretty good about all of that, as a matter of fact. 7
laps in the books here at Mid-Ohio. It's Pato O'Ward, Colton Herta, Santi Urrutia. The front 3, Aaron Telitz runs in 4th, Victor Franzoni 5th, Ryan Norman is 6th, Dalton Kellett is 7th. Let's go back to pit lane and check in once again with Dave First.
Here with Darren Manning, of course, has been with Dalton Kellett for the last couple of years, helping coach him through the first couple of seasons of Indy Lights. And tell me about, it shows you how cruel this business can be. You can be on the podium 1 minute, and the next minute you come out, and here you are back of the field.
Yeah, it's so close. All these guys are super talented. All the teams put good cars underneath them. The engineers are switching teams, and setups seem to be very, very equal, as you're seeing out there. But it just shows how close the field is, and it's nice for Dalton having these great teammates to feed off of and really work on his technique. It was a good confidence boost for him to get that podium, and hopefully he can get back in there. He's in a bit of a 3-way battle here for that 4th place, so see if he can do something towards the end of the race.
I'm going to ask you, a 3rd back at the Freedom 100, and then a 3rd yesterday, a podium finish. What did that do for him?
Oh, it's great. He's been struggling a little bit on the past couple of races at Road America and Toronto with some, unlucky issues, maybe, let's say, and some performance issues. And he worked really hard at the test here coming up, and that's just going to be a mega confidence booster. Because he's only got a few more races till he's looking towards what's happening next year. Is it an IndyCar move? What is he going to be doing? So these are really important times for him.
That leads, to that next question. This is his 47th career start in Indy Lights, and this is 3rd season all told. Would you like to see him back at Indy Lights next year? Would that help his career at all?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe even a partial season for him, and maybe a partial IndyCar season. Obviously, budget's a big concern for all these guys moving into IndyCar. That's a big jump in sponsor commitment. So, that's going to be the biggest governing factor. He's tested the IndyCars a couple of times for the Andretti stable and performed very well. I think that car actually suits him a little better than the Lights car, but he's still got to do it. Oh, we got some action.
We got a spin, Nick Yeoman?
Yeah, we do. It is Aaron Telitz who has spun, and the S is Michael Young. You can see him battling pretty ferociously with Victor Franzoni.
Yeah, he and Victor Franzoni went side by side through turn number 4. They had the exit of turn number 4 covered, and as they got to turn number 5, Franzoni and Telitz touched. They spun Aaron Telitz around. Telitz now sits at the exit of turn number 5, just on the downslope of that hill, and we have gone full course yellow, Nick Yeoman.
It is a full course yellow as Franzoni put the left side tires in the grass. Contact with Telitz, around he goes. So that is going to slow the pace and certainly make this one a little bit more competitive, allowing Herta and Urrutia back into this race. Dave First, certainly thank Darren Manning for hanging with us there. He spotted that accident, I think, before we even did in the booth.
He may have saw it coming. It shows you how quickly this place can bite you, right?
Oh, my gosh, you saw there. These guys are battling like wheel to wheel. Put a couple of wheels in the dirt and, unfortunately just tapped him there. So it's tight.
That'll move you guys up a little notch. Just being back, Chip Ganassi Racing, AJ Foyt Racing, that's your history. I know you love coming to Mid-Ohio.
This is great. He always throws, some interesting races. I think everybody's wondering whether it's going to be a two-stopper or a three-stopper in IndyCar. And
what would you do? Put your owner's hat on for a second.
Oh, I'd be three-stopping and going all out, flat out. Just let them race. If you go do a two-stopper, they've got to start, saving fuel. I don't like those races. Let them race.
Great idea. Great to talk to you as well. We'll see you in Gateway in a couple weeks.
All right, cheers, Dave.
Darren Manning, who's been coaching up Dalton Kellen for the last couple of years.
Ton of personality there, Mark Janes. You enjoy covering Darren Manning and his time as a driver?
Yeah, even when things weren't going particularly well, never shied away from it. But as you can hear, extremely knowledgeable, says it in a manner that's easy to understand, was always fan-friendly, and he had some really solid runs in his IndyCar Series career. He's a very popular guy in the paddock, very popular with the fans as well. He's a good guy, Darren Manning.
And Steve, for all of these young drivers, boy, how beneficial that can be, grabbing one of the expertise of some of these older drivers that have competed in this sport to be able to pick their brain. That's super beneficial, I would think.
Yeah, it really is. And you see guys like Darren, and then Santi Urusha is working with Bruno Junqueira, and you get these guys that have been there, done that. And anyone will tell you that's driven a race car at this level, a lot of it's a mind game. And these guys that have done it before, they figured out what that mind game is and how to control what's going through your head in a race and how to focus. And, they're really the only ones that can teach these guys how to do that. You can go to a sports psychologist, but if you haven't done it, you really can't teach it.
I talked to Jordan King at Phoenix. He was in the booth with us there when Ed was driving, and asking the benefits of coming to the Verizon IndyCar Series and having an owner who was a driver. He said, yeah, there's no question. He said, don't get me wrong. He said, you got to have a good relationship with your engineer. But in terms of being able to have a conversation, it is really, really, really beneficial to have someone at the very top that has been in the seat that you are sitting in. He said that's huge. And every driver I've ever talked to that's been in that situation has said that. Even some that have difficulties with AJ from time to time still say that they benefit from driving for AJ.
10 laps complete here at Mid-Ohio. This is the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires on the Advanced Auto Parts IndyCar Radio Network. Those are the voices of Mark Janes and Steve Wittick. Joining myself here in the booth as we're set to go racing once again. That incident for Tielitz kicks him to the rear of the field. Pato O'Ward is still your leader, but gone. It was that 3-second lead, and he's got his championship counterpart, Colton Herta, now right on the gearbox. O'Ward gets a great jump out of the final left-hand corner, and we're racing once again at Mid-Ohio. It's O'Ward, Herta, and Urrutia into turn number 1.
So Colton Herta once again will try to reel in on Pato O'Ward. Seems like we've said that an awful lot here at Mid-Ohio. They are literally single file. It's O'Ward and then Herta, followed by Urrutia, Franzoni, Norman Kellett, and Aaron Tielitz in the back of the field. Now O'Ward exiting turn 2, gets on his giddy-up and gets a little bit of separation. Called a 3-car length advantage over Colton Herta.
Colton Herta will need to use those push-to-passes now if he wants to keep touch with his teammate, Pato O'Ward. So Patricio through turn number 4. Right behind him is Colton Herta. Santi Urrutia about 3-car lengths behind him. That's the third-place position. Further back, Victor Franzoni for 4th, actually giving Santi Urrutia a little bit of fits. Victor Franzoni starting to look for that 4th position.
Here's the problem, though, Michael, with Franzoni's charge trying to get to the top 3. It's going to go to the wayside because he has been ordered to a drive-through penalty for avoidable contact. That incident that brought out the full course yellow moments ago for Aaron Tielitz. So Franzoni's day will assuredly end unless he gets another full course caution, as he has been ordered to pit lane. Not going to serve that penalty on this lap just yet, as he is in a ferocious battle again with Urrutia right ahead of him, and he's got Ryan Norman right there in the 5th position. Meanwhile, Pato O'Ward a 0.6 of a second lead out of turn number 1.
The field is a little more fragmented from one another than they were last time by. O'Ward is still the leader, followed by Herta. Then Urrutia's got some serious action going on with Franzoni, but Franzoni's got Ryan Norman there as well. So that battle, when you start getting through there in the 4, 5, 6, gets pretty interesting. Leader here in front of Michael.
3 car length advantage. Pato O'Ward over Colton Herta. Then it's Santi Urrutia about 6 car lengths behind Herta. Franzoni, who will have to serve that drive-through penalty, still battling for that third place position, is further back in the field. Now Aaron Telitz looks like to move around Dalton Kellett. He'll try the outside in turn number 5, the inside at turn number 5, and now right behind him at turn number 6. But Aaron Telitz, clearly a fast car, wants to make his way back to the front.
He's searching, Mark Jennings, searching for every inch around that racetrack to make that pass.
Yeah, and let's face it, Kellett's making the car plenty wide for him for sure. But I think what impresses me is the grip that he has on that race car. I mean, as you heard Michael describe it, I mean, he's tried every groove possible, and there you see Franzoni just a few cars above, now serving that drive-through penalty, Nick.
Up front, it's Pato O'Ward, 0.7 of a second. Jay, Colton Herta is hanging on, and most importantly, he's close enough to use that push to pass.
Keep in mind, Colton Herta is doing that hanging on, wearing that brace on his thumb after the incident in Toronto that led to a fracture. But right now, no problems keeping in control of that 98 machine. The one problem being, Michael Young, that keeping control of it means keeping control of it once again behind Patricio O'Ward.
And Patricio yesterday, I think, was toying with Colton Herta, clearly in command of the race yesterday. Today, not so much. Colton Herta now 3 car lengths down to 2 car lengths. The apex of turn number 5 and back down the hill. Colton Herta not going to lose touch of Pato O'Ward today. Actually may have a better car than he did yesterday. Maybe have a little something for his teammate.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is deja vu. It was these two that decided the race yesterday in the closing laps, where Colton Herta just hammered on that boost button, the push to pass, to run down Pato O'Ward, but just could never find a way around him. Today, he's got 13 more laps to try to do it, and he is all over that rear wing through the carousel. Those cars get awful light, dance around a little bit out of the final couple of corners across the line to complete lap number 15. It's Pato O'Ward, your leader, still 0.6 of a second, the deficit back to second.
Field working its way into the keyhole. Those front two have literally started to separate away. Patricio O'Ward and Colton Herta. Then behind them, Nick, is Santi Urrutia. Urrutia running in third, and he's got a very interested spectator down on pit road, Nick.
Let's go back to pit lane, and Rob Howden, you're standing by with John Doonan.
Yeah, get a chance to talk to John. Always a pleasure. Let's go back to the track, guys.
Yeah, just outside. Colton Herta trying to make a pass on Pato O'Ward. Look to the outside. Hangs on the outside. Side by side. Now they go down to turn number 5 to the entrance of turn number 6. Boy, Pato O'Ward made that car extra wide. Colton Herta's coming.
There they come down out of turn number 7. Pato O'Ward is being challenged like he hasn't been all weekend long, as Colton Herta is right there through Thunder Valley. O'Ward gets a nice little run, gaps him by a couple car lengths. They'll go back up the hill to the left-hander, the right-hander of the carousel. This is where they snake their way back towards the start-finish line. Colton Herta is right there, closest he's been all day long. It was 0.6 of a second 1 lap ago. This time across the stripe, it'll be right at about a half a second, back up to 0.7 of a second. The battle for the race lead is on, Jake.
Yeah, it's interesting because in this area of the racetrack, O'Ward's able to get himself a little breathing room, and by that I mean they take a right-handed turn that is a long sweep. It is the area called the keyhole. There's a slight dip in elevation, but it's exiting there where O'Ward gets himself a little bit of move, a move over Herta. But Michael, then Colton Herta through turn number 3 is able to close in.
I think the last time by, Jake, he just launched out of turn number 2. I saw him by the time he got to turn number 3, he was ready to make the pass on Patricio O'Ward. Not so this time. Nice battle shaping up further back, 3rd and 4th now. It's the machine of Ryan Norman starting to make a little headway, trying to get around Santi Urrutia.
And Steve, obviously, Colton Herta has a huge advantage with this push-to-pass system, knowing that the leader can't use that extra boost.
Yeah, he really does, and I think he's got 10 left, and he's about halfway through the race, so he's still got a good chance to use those. And after the race yesterday, he was really mad at himself that he used so many trying to get around his teammate Norman, and then the safety car came out. He had not enough to catch O'Ward at the end, but it's definitely an advantage, and you just see he just used one again, and the leader can't use it, so it's purely an offensive weapon.
He is closing out of turn number 1. They chase each other back up to the keyhole. Jake, into your view.
Herta decides not to try to go to the inside of O'Ward, but rather to stay right in the exact same line. O'Ward has himself a 2.5 car length advantage as they work their way through the keyhole. Now takes that slight right-handed kick out of turn number 3.
A nice run for Colton Herta closing in. It was 2 car lengths, now down to 1 car length. Herta puts those left-handed Cooper tires onto the white side, puts the right side then on the curb at the exit of turn number 4, draws right to the rear wing now at the exit of turn number 5 onto his teammate Patricio Award. Pato now a 2 car length advantage as they climb the hill through the S's.
Mark James, these two have won 10 of the 13 races this year. It's only fitting they've been slugging it out for the championship and that they would be putting on a show here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, they're teammates, but not right now. They're not. They're competitors for the championship, and they're going to race each other hard for sure. It just seems like in terms of the straight line speed, getting off the corners, getting back into the throttle, just a little better setup. Getting back up to speed a little quicker is Award, and Colton does seem to be able to catch him, though, with the more technical portions of the racetrack.
Let's follow this battle one more time. Jake Query is not only the battle for the lead, but pretty good battle for third as well.
Yeah, it's 2 different battles that each are gapped from one another about the same amount. Thing is, there's about 20 car lengths between Colton Herta in second, then Santi Urrutia and Ryan Norman. But the distance between the first and second place car and third and fourth place car both gap by about 3 car lengths.
You're exactly right, Jake Query. Patricio Award enters turn number 4. Colton Herta right behind him. The gap this time about 4 car lengths. Side by side, the battle of third now. Ryan Norman to the outside. Tucks to the outside again, going through turn number 5. Looks to the inside, tries to get the advantage on Santi Urrutia. Now through turn number 6, Ryan Norman giving it everything he's got. A car length back from Santi Urrutia for third.
Both drivers sliding all over this racetrack, looking for that third spot. Ryan Norman wants it really bad. These two made contact down in the S's yesterday that sent them spinning down the hill. So this battle resumes. Up front, it's still Pato Award and Colton Herta. They run 1-2 on the racetrack across the start-finish line. Pato Award gets there first. The deficit still just a half a second as Colton Herta continues to put the pressure on Pato Award.
The white machine of Pato Award with that green accentuation on the outside of it. Then it's that Yankee navy blue of Colton Herta with white trim on the top. Their distance between the two is the same as the last time by. Michael, we said it yesterday. Colton Herta is just waiting for Award to make a mistake, but it has yet to come here in race number 2.
Yeah, he's going to have to use up all those pushes to pass if he wants to get around Pato Award. This time that gap down to a car length and a half. So Herta takes it in very deep into the exit of turn number 4. Ryan Norman able to get around Santi Urrutia down the back straightaway. That was a very nice pass by Ryan Norman as he hit the push to pass button. A bad exit to turn number 2 for Santi Urrutia gives Norman the second, or should say the third position.
Yeah, great rebound for Ryan Norman, who is now into podium position to join his Andretti Autosport teammates. Rob Howden, I want to thank John Doonan for hanging by there on pit lane as the racing got fast and furious here at Mid-Ohio. But knowing John and how much he loves these drivers competing with those Mazda engines, I bet you two are having just as much fun as we are watching this.
Yeah, we almost didn't want to answer the call, Nick, because we're watching this race here right now. John, I want to talk to you about Colton Herta and Pato Award a little bit. You watched 247 drivers come through this program, this Road to Indy program, since 2009. You guys have given out $12 million in scholarships. One of these drivers is probably going to get that scholarship for next year in IndyCar. What are your thoughts on these two young men?
Well, obviously, the Andretti organization has done a great job in Indy Lights, and to have 2 guys fighting for the title is certainly any team owner's dream. But, you know, Pato and Colton cream has risen to the top, and with obviously Brian's background in the sport and Pato's passion and his drive both on the sports car side and in open wheel, it's fantastic to see. And it's been a dream of ours every May to go back and see these drivers then get the chance at the big prize, the Indy 500. So really proud. Everyone at Mazda is really proud of what we've done here in this history-making program, and I guess may the best driver at Andretti Autosport win.
You know, it's always exciting to see these young drivers mature as well. They come in as young kids, you know, maybe a little more timid. We saw Colton Herta, of course, start in USF 2000 and go abroad. They come back. You just watch these kids get, you know, more mature. The charisma comes, the character starts to develop, and then we see them ready to go to the IndyCar program, and they're adults with their own identities and again, with Mazda on their pedigree.
Yeah, it's been terrific. You know, our whole vision from the beginning was to create the whole package. PR, media training, business of motorsport, nutrition and fitness, and then obviously got to get the job done on the racetrack and be able to communicate with an engineer. So it's really awesome to watch at all levels. You see him come in at USF 2000, make the jump to Pro Mazda, and then this awesome Indy Lights car.
John, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
We'll let John get back to it. He wants to see this battle, but I know we're going to see what's happening here because I'll tell you, Colton Herta's been pushing hard, and it potentially could be at a push to pass pretty soon.
Yeah, he's been hanging right there with Pato O'Ward. I mean, that deficit mark has been a half a second to 0.7 of a second for really the last 6 or 7 laps. Using up those push-to-pass buttons, and at that point, boy, it's going to be tough to get around Pato O'Ward.
Yeah, 3 activations left, as a matter of fact. Got to say, attaboy to Ryan Norman. I mean, what a good run he's given that car today. He's up to P3 now after being patient and attacking Satya Rutia. And, over the past couple of races, I mean, I know he wanted the better results, Rob, than that 6th place finish at Toronto and the 7th place finish. But, he had a couple of runner-up finishes throughout the course of the season, and Ryan Norman, a guy who's trying to find some pace here.
I'll tell you guys, I actually did a Cooper Tire Stage Q&A with Ryan Norman this morning at 9:30 when we first got here to the racetrack, and I was asking him those exact questions. What do you focus on? You're getting better and better. He knows coming into these behind the 8 ball in terms of experience to these drivers who've been around for a long time, and he just said, you know what? I'm learning so much right now. It's consistency I'm focusing on, and that's something we see. This is the guy that finishes all the races. He normally doesn't get into any issues. Some trouble yesterday as he was battling, of course, for second place with Satya Rutia, but he's really starting to get that speed. He's stepping up. He's battling. He out-qualified Colton Herta for race number 1. We're starting to see Ryan Norman really start to step up. To Dave?
And here with Ryan's dad, John. Nice pass on Santi. Looks like he might be, fingers crossed, might be looking at a podium finisher today.
I sure do hope so. After yesterday, it was a bit disappointing, but Ryan's strong today. His car's fast, and it's great. He came from 7th, now he's in 3rd. Very happy for him.
All of this, I don't know if you remember this or not, all this has been a year now since you guys announced the Journey sponsorship on the car. It's been a year, and here we are back a year later at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, it has been a year. It's been a great year, actually. We knew coming into Indy Lights that it was going to take a couple years to get, the style down. But Ryan's doing great. The guys from Journey have been loving it, watching Ryan getting better and better, and let's hope we have a podium today.
And this is a relationship. The keyboardist, right? John King, is that?
Yeah, Jonathan Kane was a keyboard player, but I'm friends with him, and we approached him, and I said, hey, Ryan's doing these Indy Lights, and I always say, don't stop believing, buddy. And that's exactly what Jonathan Kane's dad said to him. And Jonathan really, connected with that, and he went and asked the other guys in the band. They said, absolutely, let's do this.
That's tremendous. Have you guys looked ahead to next year at all? Thought about maybe what Ryan should be doing?
Well, we obviously need to get through this year and see what's happening with Indy Lights season next year, because nobody really knows how many cars there are going to be and so on. So our options are open, but certainly we're going to be racing next year. I can tell you that.
We know this, though. Don't stop believing, correct? That's how it goes. Don't stop believing.
Yes, don't stop believing.
Amongst others, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Amongst others, no doubt about it. This is why Mark Jane's the best in the business. If I could pull the curtain back a little bit, he just dropped about 5 or 6 Journey references in that interview.
Well, if you were of the KTEL LP era, Nick, you had plenty of Journey at your disposal for sure. So.
It's fantastic stuff, and a cool story. Ryan Norman's dad, a good guy, and Steve, he's a young man who just, we say it every week, he gets better and better and better. He's knocking on the door to getting a race win, and one more year in Indy Lights seems to be like the smart move where he could be a race winner and a championship contender.
Yeah, it really would be, Nick. He's, like I said, it's only his 2nd year in cars. He started out running Atlantic Series, and that was a high downforce, lower power car, and now he's gone to a higher downforce or higher power, lower downforce car, and it's taken him a little while to adjust, but he's adjusted well, and you're right. It's just the results just keep coming. He keeps getting better and better each weekend, and I think, one more year would really serve him well.
A good story. Ryan Norman trying to look for a top 3. Meanwhile, Jake Query up front, our leader's locking up his tires.
Yeah, he did exactly that. You can see a small puff come off the rear of Pato O'Ward's car. Colton Herta, though, was not able to really take advantage as a result of that slight hiccup. Right now, it's about a 15-yard advantage for Pato O'Ward.
Yeah, with 5 laps to go, Colton will have to get on his giddy-up and have Pato O'Ward do a couple of those little mistakes, little lockups, things like that to be able to reel his teammate back in. But it has been the Pato O'Ward show this entire race weekend through turn number 7, a 5-car length advantage O'Ward over Herta.
And Steve, certainly we're going to be watching the future of those two drivers very closely, as there's been some IndyCar teams certainly sniffing around wanting to put those drivers in their seats to do a little testing before too long.
Yeah, I think actually in about 5 days we'll see those two in a IndyCar with Harding Racing. I talked to Brian Barnhart yesterday about that, and yeah, he confirmed that they would be testing some Indy Lights drivers at Portland International Raceway on this coming Friday, August 3rd. He wouldn't tell me exactly who the drivers were, but I did some sniffing around, and I think you're going to see an old-fashioned shootout between the two Andretti teammates and the one Velarde driver in Santa Urusha to kind of see and get a test, and it's kind of something that Brian has been planning to do since he made the move to look towards the 2019 season and test out some veteran drivers and some Indy Lights guys, and it's really good to see that the IndyCar teams are embracing that, and I think you'll see a few more benefits down the road for IndyCar teams that test and run an Indy Lights team that will help out the kids moving up.
Mark, no doubt about it, Mike Harding is taking kind of a different approach to the second half of the season, trying out some different opportunities. As Steve's reporting, obviously some of those Lights drivers going to get an opportunity as Colton Herta just runs a little wide to let Pato O'Ward stretch that lead out a little bit. But tip of the cap to a guy with some Indy Lights experience in Connor Daly, who's given that car a good run over the last week and a half.
Well, I like, testing sessions that we've had over the past couple of years at places like Sonoma, Steve, where, they've given half of the day to Indy Lights drivers, giving them an opportunity to test these cars. I mean, that accomplishes a couple of things. It gives those drivers valuable seat time, and let's face it, it's hands-on scouting and a close and personal look-see for these teams and owners when they're considering how to expand their racing operations or maybe, change drivers and go in a different direction for 2019.
Yeah, they don't, the IndyCar owners are definitely watching the Indy Lights series, but they don't get to know the drivers. The only way to do that and see how they perform within your team, within, an IndyCar team dynamic is to test them. And, with as limited a testing days as we've gone to, it's important for these kids to actually get that shot. I think there's 5 drivers, I think, in the field today for the Honda Indy 200 in Mid-Ohio that actually got their first start in one of these tests because the IndyCar teams were given an extra test day if they test an Indy Lights driver.
Yeah, it's super beneficial, and that partnership really for all the way up from USF 2000 to Pro Mazda, to Indy Lights, and then to IndyCar. It's been so beneficial for some of those drivers. Kyle Kirkwood, Steve, a driver that's already captured a championship, or certainly will officially here in a few weeks to close out that championship, scoring yet another win in USF 2000.
Yeah, it's 9 in a row for Kyle. He had a little bit of help today by someone who didn't get the greatest start, but that's been the way it's been for him all season. He hasn't started on pole that often, but he just races his way to the front every time. He puts himself in that great position, and he's another one that's gone through, Jeremy Shaw's Team USA scholarship program, which Jeremy has, I think, 10 kids here this weekend, 10 potential drivers who I get a chance to meet in the future of the sport. And, those guys all learn in that program. They go over to England and do the Formula Ford Festival and Walter Hayes Festival, and it's a great training ground and a great chance for those kids to grow up.
Putting the finishing touches here on this Indy Lights race presented by Cooper Tires, round number 14 here at Mid-Ohio. It's Pato O'Ward with a 2-second lead over Colton Herta. Again, Herta got a little wide coming through Thunder Valley, put the left side tires into the grass. Actually, might have gotten all 4 off, if I'm being honest, and it allowed Pato O'Ward to stretch that lead out just a bit. Through the carousel comes that young driver from Mexico. He is going to see the white flag one final time around this 12-turn road course here in Mid-Ohio. He streaks it into turn number 1. Jake Query looking for win number 7 in this 2018 season.
It is deja vu all over again as Pato O'Ward has Colton Herta behind him for the final time entering here the keyhole. That white and green machine is very close to the inside line, then sweeps a little bit to the outside, but not a single problem. Sizable gap back to Colton Herta. Michael Young, here comes Pato O'Ward into your view.
It could have probably inverted the field, and Pato O'Ward still could have come to the front. That is how good that car has been this entire race weekend. He has teased the rest of the field, swatted the ball around, and has checked out from his teammate Colton Herta. Pato O'Ward is through turn number 6, a 15 car length advantage over his teammate Colton Herta. He'll come to you for the final time, Nick Yeoman.
Just 3 races left after this, and we may very well look at this weekend where Pato O'Ward was absolutely dominant as the one where he put the finishing touches on the championship. A lot of points on the line at Gateway, a doubleheader still to go at Portland, but what a weekend here in Lexington, Ohio for Pato O'Ward. Out of the final corner, he'll score the victory in round 14. Pato O'Ward wins at Mid-Ohio here in the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires. The advantage over Colton Herta, a nice 4.3 seconds as Herta comes across the line in second. It'll be an Andretti sweep of the podium as the hometown kid Ryan Norman from just up the road in Cleveland will come home in third, 10 seconds behind. Santi Urrutia finishes fourth. Dalton Kellett is fifth. Victor Franzoni is sixth. Aaron Telitz finishes seventh as Pato O'Ward gets to celebrate another victory here in Indy Lights. His seventh of the season, 8 pole positions. I mean, listen, Mark, there's no doubt about it. This young man's ready for IndyCar, and these opportunities are going to come if he can get the scholarship or the championship here in just a matter of about a month.
Well, most importantly, the lead balloons to 32 over Colton Herta. Now, as you mentioned, points up for grabs at Gateway, and then, of course, points up for grabs at Portland for the season finale. But it's not over by any stretch. I mean, Colton Herta is a guy that can get just as hot as Pato O'Ward is right now. But there's no question he is trying to run off and hide, and he has put together a pretty impressive string of wins to match the 4 in a row that Colton Herta pulled off midway point of the season.
And, Steve, with these back-to-back wins and the struggles for Santi Urrutia, looks like basically it's a 2-horse race at this point in this championship.
Yeah, unfortunately, Santi needed to win both races this weekend, and the Bilardi team just didn't quite have the pace to do that. He'll be disappointed, but you know, I've gotten to know Santi, and over the last couple months, he's become a different person, and he's kind of resigned to the fact that, you know, he's going to have to work really hard to get into IndyCar. He's not going to be able to win the scholarship, unfortunately. And, you know, he's working with Bruno Junqueira, and that has really changed his outlook as well.
Pato O'Ward gets to take the victorious drive down pit lane. That's the 180 turn to take it into victory lane, which is just behind pit road and before those really historic garages here at Mid-Ohio that have been offering up great views for the fans all weekend to watch the Verizon IndyCar Series teams work on those machines. Of course, that's the Honda Indy 200. Live coverage coming your way at 3 o'clock Eastern with Mark Janes and Anders Krohn here in the booth guiding you through that race, which is just going to be fantastic. Alexander Rossi on the pole. So what an opportunity, Mark, as we wait to hear from Pato O'Ward. Weekend for Andretti Autosport to potentially sweep everything in the big cars.
Yeah, keep an eye on the midway point of the field. You've got Scott Dixon and a few other fast cars back there. Dixon, of course, a 5-time winner here. Will Power with some interesting comments after qualifying yesterday, saying, listen, I'm going to be difficult to pass. That's all there is to it. Track position is very, very important, and based upon what we have seen through qualifying and through the practice sessions, there are a lot of teams that really don't have a firm handle on this, and the first few laps could be certainly very, very interesting. 3-stop race. You heard Darren Manning reference it earlier. You can go on a 2-stopper if you want to save some fuel, but I don't know too many are going to employ that unless they're in the rear of the field, and they'll hope for a little luck with a pit strategy from there.
Let's hear from some of our top competitors here in Indy Lights. First with Dave First.
Aurora, Ohio's Ryan Norman has climbed out of that Journey Mazda podium finish. Big sigh of relief here, perhaps. Nice little way to come back home, huh?
Yeah, we really wanted it yesterday, and I knew coming into this race we had a lot to do coming from the back. So I knew we had a good race car. It was just all about moving through the field, and we did that pretty well. When I passed Santi, I was a little too far behind Colton and Pato to use my push to pass, so I was kind of stuck there after that. But really, really proud of the team. They gave me a great car this weekend, and I'm super pumped to be on a podium at home.
Things got dicey out there a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, sure did. I mean, with especially with 10 laps to go, the my right front tire was falling off a little bit. Felt like I had a flat spot or something, so I was just trying to bring it home at that point. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a fun, interesting race.
What a journey, if you will. Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much.
Ryan Norman, podium finish here at Mid-Ohio.
Yep, a great third-place finish for Ryan Norman as Andretti Autosport gets the top 3 steps on the podium. Steve, your final thoughts on
Do you know what it means to race here?
Do you know the opportunities that exist here?
Do you know the pressure? All around the country.
All around the world.
There's drivers young and old. We want the chance to do what we are doing. What we are fighting for.
What we're racing for.
We've raced our whole lives and sacrificed so much.
We've worked hard.
Stayed up late. And gotten up early.
We've proven doubters wrong and made our supporters proud.
Our dream is in front of us. The only thing left to do
is win.
Flag is out. A good jump for Colton Herta.
Champion in USF 2000, Oliver Askew!
Urrutia will slip around and grab the lead.
Franzoni with the victory. Kyle Kaiser, champion of the 2017 Indy Lights.
The tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. The tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
16 wide eyes. Driver's license took 2 tries. Bought a Roadster secondhand. Playing parties with the band. Loaded up, off to state. Hijinks, tailgates, starter, midsize, family cruising. Now in the garage, something new reminds you of when you were you.
Radio check.
The PM18 has a performance level and a drivability that fits it right in between the USF 17 and the Indy Lights car. We've added horsepower to this car to make it more like the Indy Lights car.
This car has a ton of mechanical grip, 6-speed paddle shifters. The cool part is it revs all the way to 9 grand. It's going to be a great platform for the Mazda Road Indy.
Do you know what it means to race here?
Do you know the opportunities that exist here?
Do you know the pressure? All around the country.
All around the world.
There's drivers young and old. We want the chance to do what we are doing. What we are fighting for.
What we're racing for.
We've raced our whole lives and sacrificed so much.
We've worked hard.
Stayed up late and gotten up early.
We've proven doubters wrong and made our supporters proud.
Our dream is in front of us. The only thing left to do